special invitees, and representatives from the media. Ladies and gentlemen, I, Dr. Mehul Bohre, on behalf of Shri Vitthal Education and Research Institute and all the colleges under its umbrella, extend a warm welcome to the 5th edition of Techno-Societal International Conference on Advanced Technologies for Societal Applications, organized in collaboration with School of Life Sciences, Punya Shlok Ahilya Devi Holkar, Solapur University, Solapur, under the PM Usha scheme. For those unfamiliar with its rich heritage, allow me to introduce you to Pandharpur, a town steeped in spirituality and tradition. Pandharpur, often referred to as the spiritual capital of Maharashtra and fondly known as the southern Kashi of India, is a revered pilgrimage destination nestled on the sacred banks of the river Chandrabhaga, and its presiding deities are Lord Vitthal and Mata Rukmini, whose temple draws millions of devotees seeking spiritual solace and enlightenment. Pandharpur has been a vibrant hub of saints, scholars, and spiritual seekers across centuries. It has inspired countless journeys of introspection, wisdom, community upliftment, and the eternal quest for knowledge. Today, as we gather here for Techno-Societal 2024, Pandharpur continues to inspire us not only as a place of devotion, but also as a symbol of how tradition and innovation can coexist to create a brighter future. It is an absolute honor to stand before such a distinguished gathering as we embark on this remarkable journey of knowledge exchange and innovation. This conference serves as a bridge connecting cutting-edge technologies with solutions to societal challenges, fostering ideas that hold promise to transform lives. As famously quoted by Henry Ford, coming together is a beginning, keeping together is a progress, and working together is success. With this brief introduction, without further ado, let's dive into the inaugural function proper. Let us begin by seeking the blessings of Lord Vithala, for which I invite students of Jogdanda Maharaj Warkari Shikshan Sanstha for the Abhangvani. It is a form of poetry sung in the praise of Lord Vithala. Carrying forward the Valkyrie tradition, we have here with us Geeta Lady Jokanda, who was the singer, Nivritti Maharaj Jokanda, also accompanying her in the singing, Yug Maharaj Bhosle, Narasai Maharaj Shinde, Vaibhav Maharaj Upasi, Anand Maharaj Zavadekar, who were on the tar and pakwas. Thank you very much for this melodious. To mark the auspicious beginning of our conference, may I now invite our esteemed dignitaries on the stage for the ceremonial lighting of the lamp, invoking the divine blessings of Mary Saraswati, the goddess of speech, learning, and knowledge. I request all the dignitaries to please come forward for the lighting of the lamp. ओम सरस्वती नमः विद्या दया निधि ज्ञान वैराग्य भास्कराय विद्या वंदे नमोस्तुते, which means salutations to Devi Saraswati, the bestower of knowledge and wisdom, the light of knowledge and detachment, and the goddess who grants us learning and understanding. We bow before you. Now I kindly request our dignitaries to inscribe a message on the whiteboard that will guide and inspire us not just during the conference, but in our journey forward. Their words of wisdom will serve as a beacon of inspiration for all of us.
और बाहर आने आगे ठीक है थोड़ा आगे रखना चाहिए मतलब पीछे हाथ दे रहे थोड़ा आगे लेना चाहिए इधर उधर कॉर्नर में आते तो एचडी नहीं दिखता लोगो ये एचडी दिख रहा है एचडी के प्लीज लोगो आना पड़ता है अरे ना वो तो एचडी दिख रहा है
हँडीकॅम इशू आता वाला कैमरा वाला हैंडीकैम का प्रॉब्लम नहीं करता हैंडीकैम को लेंस नहीं है वो वाले कैमरा तो अपना रेगुलर कैमरा को लेंस अच्छा है जैसा मांगता वैसा बिठाओ हाँ एक नंबर उसका मॉडल हैंडीकैम का जो मॉडल उसको लेंसेज एडिशनल आते हैं कैमरा से महंगी लेंस आती है ये ऐसा ही दिख रहा है क्रिकेट पर होते हैं ना वो कैमरे कैसे होते हैं अरे 10 लाख रुपए के ऊपर ये कैमरे होते हैं आवाज कर रहे हैं हमारे कैमरे कहाँ पे है किधर के पास रुकता नहीं रुकता है क्या रुकता
Message from our today's inaugural conference, Honorable Dr. Allah Sari. Warm wishes for the good conference from the heart. Thank you very much, sir. Message from our Dr. R. Yogeshwaran, sir. Technology for society, innovate of inspire. Thank you very much, sir. Message from our today's president, Professor Dr. Narendraji Shah, sir. Great initiative, best wishes for many years to come. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, esteemed dignitaries. Thank you, Dr. Edward. We now move to an important moment, the release of the proceedings that will capture the key discussions and outcomes of this conference. I kindly request all the dignitaries to proceed with the release. Additionally, we will be witnessing the signing of MOU between Help University Malaysia and Swedish College of Engineering Pandharpur. I invite Professor Dr. Rongeshwar from Help University and Professor Dr. B.P. Rongesar from Swedish College of Engineering to kindly come forward for the exchange of signatures. This MOU signifies the collaboration and partnership that will extend the impact of our shared objectives.
उधर फोकस कीजिए. लिप खोल दे. लिप खोल दे. ये भी खोल. गाँव से नीचे क्या है? गाँव
Let us witness this momentous occasion with a round of applause. Thank you. I request all the individuals to please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, we now proceed with the next segment of our program. I invite Professor Dr. Prashant Pawar, the co-convener of Techno-Societal 2024, to deliver his introductory speech. Please join me in welcoming him with a warm round of applause. Good morning. Good morning.
Honorable Professor Dr. Narendra Shah sir, President of Function and Member Secretary Rajiv Gandhi Science Technology Commission, Government of Maharashtra, Dr. Prahlad, National University of Singapore, Professor Dr. Longeshwaram, Health University Malaysia, other esteemed guests, Vinay Vishnu, Solution Architect Sign Lab, Dr. Vinay Kulkarni, Principal Government College of Engineering Karad, Dr. Parmeshwar Udbare, Sitara IIT Bombay, Dr. Virendra Duklangi, Guru Nanak Dev Engineering College Bidar, all the dignitaries out and of the dais. We are also privileged to welcome our distinguished keynote speakers, Dr. Vishal Dhangai, Diamond Light Source, Oxford, UK, Dr. Sapna Gambhir, George Mason University, USA, Mr. Lau Simon, Polytechnic University of Philippines, Dr. Gorakji Bar, Mahatma Phule Krishi Vidyapit, Dr. Sakshi Dhanekar, IIT Jodhpur, Dr. Botir Usmanov, Tashkent Institute of Chemical Technology, Uzbekistan, Dr. Gaurav Bhartaria, IIT Bhubaneswar, Dr. Yap Kim Ho, University, Tunaku, Abdul Rahman, Malaysia, Dr. Vijay Kumar Pal, IIT Jammu, Dr. Venkata Reddy, Amity University, Dubai. All guests of honors and of the closing ceremony, Dr. Lakshmikant Dabasar, Pro Vice Chancellor, Punyashlok Ahilya Devi Holkar, Solapur University, Solapur, and most importantly, all the delegates from across the globe as well as my esteemed colleagues. It is an immense honor to stand before such illustrious gathering. For those of you who have made the efforts to reach this remote yet vibrant venue, your journey is a testament to your commitment to techno-societal causes. Your dedication greatly enriches this conference and inspires us all. Techno-societal activities at our institute began in 2011 under the visionary guidance of Padma Bhushan Dr. Anil Kakodkar. The signing of MOU with ERC introduced the transformative concept of sewage, a vision to bring best of city-like amenities to rural areas. Today, our educational campus proudly serves as a role model for sustainable development under this concept. I extend a warm invitation to all of you to visit the Village Hub during your time here. The fundamental efforts of luminaries such as Patankar sir, Dekne sir, Suri sir, Bala sir, Mule madam, and contributions of over 50 BRC scientists has been pivotal in shaping and strengthening these initiatives. Their dedication and vision continue to inspire us. This conference has its roots in thematic meeting at BRC on micro nanotechnologies in service of rural India. The success of four such thematic meetings encouraged us to elevate these discussions to an international platform. This event is not just a milestone for Sweri, but collective endeavor built on the efforts of dedicated community united by the vision of advancing science and technology for societal benefit. This international conference offers a unique opportunity to engage with diverse community of scientists, engineers, and innovators. Whether you bring advanced technologies, expertise in societal problem solving, or seek solution to the challenges, this multidisciplinary forum fosters meaningful collaboration and exchange of ideas. This year, we received over 1,000 abstracts and 550 full papers across three divisions of applied sciences, mechanical engineering, electronics, and computer sciences. The conference features 14 keynote speakers and 2 plenary speakers, and we are proud to announce that all the accepted papers will be published in collaboration with Springer after rigorous peer review process. Bringing down the legacy of our past 4 conferences, which produced 7 proceedings with over 600 papers and impressive 5.5 lakh chapter access, this 5th conference introduces a new initiative of engaging undergraduate students through a poster presentation track. We are thrilled by enthusiastic response with over 200 young participants contributing to this segment. An event of this magnitude requires not only vision but also unwavering support. I extend my deepest gratitude to our funding agencies, sponsors and collaborators, including the School of Life Sciences, Punyashlok Ahilyadevi Holkar, Solapur University, Solapur, for their support under Prime Minister Uchchatar Shiksha Abhiyan grant. Your collaborations, your contributions have been instrumental in transforming this vision into reality. Since its inception, Sweri has aspired to host events of this scale. Today, this Median International Conference represents a historic milestone in our journey. The overwhelming response we have received reaffirms the importance of these initiatives. Thank you for being part of this transformative event. I wish you an enriching and inspiring experience over these Techno-Societal days. Enjoy the conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Pawar, for your insights and vision for this conference. In keeping with the Indian ethos of Atithi Devo Bhava and the tradition deeply embedded in Sweri's culture, we would now like to welcome our distinguished dignitaries with a token of appreciation. I call upon Professor Dr. B.P. Ronge sir, Founder Secretary, Sri Vitthal Education and Research Trust, and Principal, Sweri's College of Engineering, Pandharpur, to felicitate President of our today's function, Dr. Narendra Shah sir. I request our Senior Trustee Member, Dada Sahibji Ronge sir, also the Chairman of Sri Vitthal Education and Research Institute, to please welcome Narendra Shah sir. He is the Member Secretary, Rajiv Gandhi Science and Technology Commission, Government of Maharashtra, and also Professor at Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, Sidara. you, sir. Now I call upon Professor Dr. B.P. Ronge, sir, Founder Secretary, Sweri Trust, and Principal, Sweri's College of Engineering, Pandharpur, to welcome Dr. Prahlad. Sir is professor at National University of Singapore. Thank you, sir. May I request Shri N.S. Kagwe, sir, Founder Trustee Member, Sweri Trust, to welcome Professor Dr. R. Longeshwaram. Sir is Dean of Computing and Digital Technology at Health University, Malaysia. May I now request Shri N.S. Kagwe, sir, Senior Trustee Member, Sweri Trust, and former President of the Trust, to welcome Professor Dr. R. Longeshwaram, Dean of Computing and Digital Technology at Health University, Malaysia. Thank you, sir. I now invite Shri H.M. Bagar, sir, Founders Trustee Member, Sweri Trust, to please welcome Dr. Virendra Dakurgi, sir. Sir is Professor and Head of Department of Computer Science and Engineering at Guru Nanak Dev Engineering College, Bidar, Karnataka. He is also a visiting professor at Health University, Malaysia. Recognized among the top 2% of scientists worldwide in the Stanford LCDO ranking. Thank you, sir. Now I call upon Shri B.D. Ronge, sir, Trustee Member, Shri Vitthal Education and Research Institute, to honor Dr. Parmeshwar D. Udmare, sir. Sir is Assistant Professor at Center for Technology Alternatives for the Rural Area, IIT Bombay. Sir has taken multiple research roles at institutes like RIHM Japan, Kyoto University Japan, and AIT Thailand previously. He is recipient of the JSPS Postdoctoral Fellowship Award 2016-18. Thank you, sir. Now I request Chief D.S. Vitthal, sir, Salvitthal, sir, Trustee Member, Sweri Trust, to welcome, and former President of the Trust, to please welcome Mr. Vinod Vishnu, sir. He is AI Solution Architect at Bangalore and co-founder of Ionic 3DP Chennai, a company specializing in robotics and automation. Thank you, sir. Now I request our Vice Principal of Sri Little Education and Research Institute's College of Engineering, Pandharpur, Dr. Minashi Pawar Madam, to felicitate Geeta Didi Jogdani. Thank you, ma'am. May I now request all the dignitaries to please take your seat. Moving forward, ladies and gentlemen, I now take the privilege to request Professor Dr. B.P. Ronge sir, the convener and founder secretary of the Little Education and Research Institute and principal of College of Engineering, Pandharpur, to introduce Swedi and share his thoughts regarding the conference with us.
Good morning, one and all. Honorable Professor Dr. Narendra Shah, sir, President of the function and Secretary, Rajiv Gandhi Science and Technology Commission, Government of Maharashtra, Professor Sitara, IIT Bombay, our esteemed inaugural guest and plenary session speakers, Dr. Purla from National University Singapore, Professor Dr. Logeswaran from Health University Malaysia, on the dais, my friend and co-host, I will call it as joint host, Director Life Sciences, School of Life Sciences, Puneslo Bailadevi Holkar, Solapur University, Solapur, Dr. Vikas Patil sir, President of our Swedi family, Dada Sahib Ronge, Professor Dumad from IIT Bombay. We have on the dais the pioneer of workshop on micro nanotechnology for in the service of nation, which turned into this international conference and brand name Techno-Societal. Dr. V.K. Suri, an outstanding scientist and former head Precision Engineering Division, Baba Atomic Research Center, Mumbai. We have on the dais, of course, I mentioned about Shah sir, who is president of the function. We have on the dais my friend Dr. Veerbhadra Dande, Senate member and President of Vidyapit Vikas Manch, Punyashloka Devi Holkar, Solapur University, Solapur. We have Dr. Vinay Vishnu, Dr. Virendra Ji, Dr. Wadze, Director, NSS, Punyashloka Devi Holkar, Solapur University, Solapur. I beg apology. Other dignitaries of the dais, Professor Dr. Kulkarni, Principal, Government Engineering College, Karad, all the dignitaries, our founder trustee members, and distinguished delegates, my brothers, sisters, and young friends. It is my privilege and pleasure to welcome you all to the 5th International Conference, Techno-Societal 2024. On behalf of our Sweri family, our trust, the Vitthal Education and Research Institute, Pandharpur, which is popularly known as Sweri, and the School of Life Sciences, Punyashloka Devi Holkar, Solapur University, Solapur, the host of this conference. As the host, I am honored to stand before this august gathering to discuss and deliberate on the vital role of technology in addressing societal challenges. This conference is organized with a mission to generate impactful solutions for those who need them most, reaching the last man standing in society. Sri Vitthal Education and Research Institute, widely recognized as SWERI, began as a charitable trust founded by a visionary group of technocrats with a shared dream to transform society, particularly rural regions, through the dual power of education and technology. Our journey was started in the year 1998 with the humble beginning on this one-time barren land with 160 students, 8 teachers and 2 non-teaching staff in a modest workshop set offering undergraduate engineering education. Today, we stand proud as a thriving institution with a state-of-the-art campus hosting around 5,000 students, 400 faculty and staff, and achieving numerous prestigious quality accreditations. While our initial focus was on undergraduate teaching and learning, we have expanded both horizontally and vertically, and now we have postgraduate and doctoral programs and fostered robust research and entrepreneurship initiatives. Our efforts are supported by funding from the state and central government agencies, and one of our proud funding agency, Rajiv Gandhi Science and Technology Commission, Honorable Secretary of RGSTC, Government of Maharashtra, is presiding this inaugural function. Some of our noteworthy achievements include being among the 8 institutes selected from 388 participants for the Atal Community Innovation Center scheme by Niti Aayog, Government of India, with a project outlay of 5 crore rupees. We are proud to state we are part of a collaborative drone ecosystem development project with IIT Bombay and VGTI Mumbai, for which RGSTC, Government of Maharashtra, has provided a grant of rupees 33.73 crores. We got privilege and opportunity to sign a MOU with Bhabha Atomic Research Center, Mumbai, and NPCIL Tarapur to operate Akruti Kendra in Tarapur. This year, this institute, Sweri's College of Engineering, Pandharpur, has become autonomous, and has introduced various innovative experiments in engineering curriculum. I extend a heartfelt welcome to all inaugural guests, Dr. Prahlad and Professor Logeswaran. Sir, your gracious acceptance of our invitation and your presence here today inspire us. Once again, I also warmly welcome Honorable Professor Dr. Narendra Shah sir as the President of today's inaugural ceremony. A special welcome goes to all our distinguished speakers, participants from academia, research organizations and industry, as well as representatives from media and event sponsors. Your contributions are integral to the success of this conference. I wish to express in advance my sincere gratitude to the School of Life Sciences, Purneshlo Kailadevi Holkar, Solapur University, Solapur, for its valuable collaboration under the PM Usha grant, and to our sponsors and media partners for their unwavering support. We hope this conference serves as a platform for enriching discussions, collaborative engagements, and the exchange of innovative ideas. May you take back not only knowledge and professional connections, but also wonderful memories of your time you are going to spend here in Pandharpur. Enjoy the conference and your stay. Thank you very much.
I'll go as an analogy. Sir epitomizes the quote by Steve Jobs. Innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. And that's what we have done at Swearing. Thank you, Professor Dr. B.P. Ronge, sir, for your guidance and support. Before I invite our next dignitary, I humbly attempt to summarize an illustrious career and introduce it. Dr. Narendra Shah is Member Secretary, Rajiv Gandhi Science and Technology Commission, Government of Maharashtra. He is a full-time professor at IIT Bombay, Sitara. Sir has completed his PhD in Process Engineering from UTC, France. He is ME from AIT Bangkok, Thailand, and his BTech from Rahuri, India. He has taught courses on soils and agriculture, agro-based industries, food and nutrition delivery. As far as experience goes, he has led projects in food process engineering, and contributed in setting a food engineering lab at IIT Bombay. He has coordinated institute-wide project on technology interface unit for Khadi and Village Industries Commission. He has helped in setting up a production unit at premises of Sion Hospital, Mumbai, to supplement needs of malnourished children in association with Pediatrics Department of Sion Hospital. Sir has received numerous awards, amongst them. He is the co-recipient of IIT Bombay's Dr. P.K. Patwardhan Technology Development Award in 2013 for developing process to make improvement in jaggery making. Sir has also received the IICHE Hindustan God Oliver Award for excellence in use of science and technology in rural development in December 2004. He has close to 65 plus publications in international journals and conferences. It is now my pleasure and privilege to invite Dr. Narendra Shah sir to deliver the presidential address. Please join me in welcoming him with a round of applause.
Namaste. The dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, faculty colleagues at Swedi and the faculty who have come from other universities, and my young friends. Well, usually when I used to go for lectures at IIT Bombay, I used to go very, very well prepared, because I know that I have to face the young students like you who are at times more arrogant, right? Can I say that? Yeah. And I was told by my senior colleague at IIT Bombay that if you did not know answer of any question, do not try and sort of move around. Just say that ask the bright student to come out with ideas that in the next lecture you answer that question. Yeah. So the I have a couple of thoughts that I just gathered while I was traveling this morning from Sangli at Walchand Engineering College, where I was for 2 days. While traveling, I gathered a few ideas which I want to share with you as a part of this talk. Maybe 10 minutes, sir. Yeah. Okay. Um, First of all, the, uh, the theme of this conference, Techno-Societal. I personally like it because right from my career, when I started with my doctoral degree in France and then postdoctoral for 2 years in projects of European Economic Commission, and then coming back to IIT and trying to sort of set myself goals for my career. Uh, Technology applications for society has been very core to my heart, and I have done projects firsthand which aimed at applying the principles, drawing upon multiple disciplines. So, what I learned initial 5 years of my um, professorial or a faculty life at IIT was technology development and then technology diffusion is not an easy game. Technology development perhaps you can do with some efforts, but technology diffusion and particularly for the societal applications is not an easy game. So all of you know technology T, the first word T has two arms, right? One is horizontal and another is vertical. So if you want to succeed in any of your technology application, you need to be good at both arms. Then only you can complete the T. So what that horizontal arm indicates is you need to sort of look at all perspectives that are sort of encompassed in the problem at hand that you have. If you want to solve a problem, if you want to do problem solving, that you need to look at all the perspectives and then the vertical arm should dig deeper. Any problem that you undertake that you want to develop a solution using principles of science, principles of engineering, you need to dig deeper. So therefore, I think that technology word T is important and that's what it connotes to me. Secondly, often at times when the science and technology community is trying to identify the problems on what problems to work on. Because what we say in problem solving, 25% of the job is well done if you have identified your problem. So whether it is your BTech special study or your BTech study that you undertake in your last semester or last year, or whether it is your master's thesis problem or formulating a hypothesis for your PhD degree. 25% of the job is well done if you identify a problem. So, in the sense that what problem I want to work on. Now, often at times, the corporate world, within corporates, there is a filter which acts. When you talk about technology development, there's a filter. So, perhaps the corporates want to reach the lower hanging fruits, right? So where there is the probability of success is very high. And in this game, what happens is certain needs, certain felt needs, which you sort of appreciate, they get disregarded because perhaps there is not much money to gain. So there is, and as a result of that, a large section of society gets unreached. So what I think Dr. Romley and his team, when they designed this conference, is they want to reach this section of large section of our society which is unreached. And what better noble thought of engaging with younger population, your undergraduates, your postgraduates, what they say is like, nip the bud at the right age, or sort of, involve them at the right age. So if this philosophy of identifying a problem, what we typically said is do a needs assessment. We had at IIT Bombay a center called Data Center for Technology and Design, and this project was run for about 5 to 7 years with MIT of Boston. And one of the things we tried to inculcate at this center was start from a good needs assessment. When I said that 25% problem, I mean, when you identify a problem, how do you identify a problem? You do needs assessment. You do prevalence of whatever, where what we say is find out where the shoe pinches. Find out the pain problems. Go to society, do whatever, my colleague, Professor Parmeshwar also now is going through a similar, what we say is drill for the faculty members working there. That along with the students, you have to do what we call as PRA and RRA, PRA is participatory research appraisal. In the sense that you go to village, take a transit walk, see people, what are their conditions. If you want to understand what are the woes of not having electricity, that you go and just push a button and you have a bulb which gives you light or which runs your motor. If you go to a place which is not reached by electricity, and sorry, a typical problem, often times even now, that you happen to see a situation where your water level is here and your farm is here. Okay, now when you go and visit the farmer, go to the farm and start talking to the farmer, he doesn't want to know whether you come from a civil engineering discipline or whether you come from an electrical engineering discipline or so and so forth. He just says that get me that water which is down here up to my farm. So then you, of course, you use your engineering principles to calculate your suction head, delivery head, and then you give them a solution. And perhaps the first solution which comes to you put a motor, electric motor. But अरे sir, इधर sustained power supply ही नहीं है. There is no sustained power supply here. How will your pump work? How will your motor work? So then, for example, you have to develop alternatives, and that's what at IIT Bombay when we called this Sitara, Center for Technology Alternatives. What are the different technology alternatives to resolve different needs of a society? And so therefore, sir, once again, let me commend both Dr. Rombe sir and Dr. Pawar sir to have identified this as a conference theme, and therefore I have written there also that sustenance of such a theme is quite important, and it's something which is quite relevant. We all of us, we watch, we see around, we see through various media, print media, television media, and all that. India is a country in transition. I think all of you will agree. And the aspirations, particularly of the young people, the aspirations are totally different. That roti kapda makan to ho gaya. Roti kapda makan is done. Now you are looking for better roads. Now you are looking for better sustained electricity supply. You look at sort of, you talk to the younger students in the colleges. They hardly talk about staying put with one after their graduation. They do not know. At my time when I was in college, or at my parent times, it was a philosophy like what you have in Japan. Once a Yamamoto man will always continue working with that. Now you hardly find a graduate when he finds a job at a campus placement at a place, and if he sticks to the same place for more than 5 years, they'll say something wrong with this guy. He's not updated his skills or something like that. He's not able to find it. So the aspirations, and therefore these aspirations of young people need to be met with, and it's a big challenge to the engineering and science college and academic and the solution providers, I would say, both from corporate world and I think Professor Pawar mentioned about the silage concept. It is known in different ways. I think our erstwhile Abdul Kalam ji called it as Pura, also provision of urban amenities in rural areas. Pura. Also, our Honorable Chairman Dr. Kapoor calls it as a silage, and I believe the program at Sweri started as a silage here as one of the important centers. And essentially, when you work for these silage kind of technologies, you have to engage with various stakeholders. And the methodology that we use at IIT Bombay was to have, for example, the dialogue with various kinds of stakeholders. So you will have young people, you have middle-aged people, you have senior people. Talk to them, and then in order to find out what are their needs, you sort of prepare a list of 10 things where, as I said, where the shoe pinches, whether water is a problem, whether the employment is a problem, whether education is a problem, and so on and so forth. So, working with stakeholders, as I said, let me repeat here, particularly for the young friends here who are in their third year, fourth year of engineering, that it's better to learn that interdisciplinarity is extremely important. I don't know whether being an autonomous institute, do they do BTech 6 monthly study? Do they do a final year study? So right at that point in time, I think you need to learn to get to interdisciplinarity, learn from. So typically, for example, when I picked up problems, I used to resort to handbooks. If I want to learn from chemical engineering some principle, I will go to Perry's handbook. I want something from mechanical engineering, I will go to Kent's handbook. So this handbook at a time is also such a great resource. So get used to sort of do not shy away from using something which is not in your discipline. So problem solving is something which needs to be inculcated right at the UGs, and which is happening here in Sweri College, which is something very, very important. Now, last perhaps two thoughts that I want to share, that the commission for which I am working, the Rajiv Gandhi Science and Technology Commission with Government of Maharashtra. In fact, each state in India has a state council, we call it. Okay, State Science and Technology Council. Maharashtra is unique that we have a commission, which is a statutory body of the government, which is formed by Act of government. And I just wanted to narrate some of the, just to cite here some of the projects that we have worked on. So one of the projects which was led at IIT Bombay is called BETIC, Biomedical Engineering Technology Innovation and Entrepreneurship. One of the projects which we gave for 5 years, and Dr. Longe sir, the initial target that the principal investigator assigned to himself was that at the end of 5 years, you will come out with some 4 devices, 4 technologies. And why we say that this is one of the ideal projects is because at the end of 5 years, they came out with 30 startups and 16 patents. And this is something which we are very proud of. Another project we just gave last year was, some of you may have heard about the institute called Agarkar Research Institute in Pune. It's a life sciences based institute of DST. So they are going to coordinate the project on plant-based medicines. Now, Ayurveda is a very strong tradition. Historically, we have been using these non-allopathy, or what you typically call Ayurveda or Unani medicines. So we have given a project, an umbrella project, of we also called it a big ticket project. Like Betik was a big ticket project. So we have given this big ticket project to establish. So we know that there are certain, like Ayurveda professionals do practice it, but often at times there is no SOP. There is no standardization of that method, technology, extraction, and there is no scientific legitimacy which is attached to Ayurveda. So we have given this project, and they have just begun the work, and some 10 colleges
will be working on different plants and extraction methods, and we will end into, and that's the objective that the PIs have given to, that they end up into some formulation, then it will again, as I say, the use of multidisciplinary, you need a pharmacist, you need a chemistry person, you need a formulation expert, and you need chemical engineering expertise to set up a plant of that type, of which principles have been proven. The third project which I must mention here, because Sherry is a part of it, we have given a project which is again coordinated by IIT Bombay, a project on drone development and its application, and I believe some development has taken place. Dr. Prashant Pawar has been promising me that he will show something. Hopefully that day is today or tomorrow, and I will get to see something here. Yeah, so that's another project which is sort of relevant, contextual, and those research staff and students who get to work with these projects, what we have said to ourselves at the commission is it's important job of establishing the ecosystem of science, research, innovation, and entrepreneurship. And the more official places or the areas where, and Pandharpur is no best example than Pandharpur, that which interact with other institutions like BJTI, IIT Bombay, and things like that, and then that research ecosystems get established. Last one scheme which I would like to definitely mention here, and hopefully one day Sherry also becomes part of it, for which I was here last 2 days in Sangli at Walchand Engineering College. We call it as MSME internship scheme of RGSTC. MSME is micro and small scale, micro, small and medium scale industries. Often at times it so happens that they do not have their in-house R&D. These MSMEs, they work, it's like inherited either from parents or some startups which sets up a company. And doing research becomes out of their scope. And on one hand, on the other hand, we have this last year, third year, fourth year engineering students, which is a good talent, young talent, which is wanting to work on real life problems. So the idea here to devise this scheme was if we can mix these two things, like you have combined these two things, that there is a need of new ideas, new thoughts on how to improve the process or how to improve the product, how to value add the product. And second is like the students who work and we give certain internship of some 10,000 rupees for 6 months. So they do it in 2 phases. At the end of third year, they spend 2 months in an identified industry, identify a problem, as I said, needs assessment. And then once they have identified, along with the faculty mentor on a problem, they get last entire semester. And since you are going to be autonomous, I think you can dedicate the last semester for the students' project work. And then the students in a team of 2 will get a stipend of some 10,000 rupees, and also their prototype, the RGSTC funds, to the extent of some 1 lakh rupees. So that each college which has been selected, there is one in Nagpur, Rajdev Baba Engineering College, and another is in Sangli. And we are now we have added 3 more. Your vice principal madam is from Nanded. She was saying next week I'm going to Nanded to select the projects that the student teams have identified. So we fund such 3 good projects, and not only their stipend, but as I said, the prototype building and then testing in the industry. So this is what we are doing, and this is a formal function. So although I'm tempted to ask, but I will not ask if there is any question. But perhaps at the other time, during the lunch time of in the hall, I will be available and I will take questions. Thank you very much for inviting me, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your inspirational words. Now we move towards the plenary talks. Before we move towards it, I would request Dr. V.K. Suri sir to please be the session chair for the plenary talks. Before we move, okay. I kindly request all the dignitaries on the dais to please step down and take their seats in the front row for the commencement of our first plenary session. Let me introduce Dr. Dignitary sir. Sir has worked as senior scientist in Bhabha Atomic Research Center, Mumbai for over 40 years. He retired as head precision engineering division, machine dynamics division. He started his PhD at the age of 62 at IIT Bombay. He represented Prime Minister's group on nanotechnology, IBSA, and biomedical devices. He is a member of FDA and has received the Lifetime Award in Manufacturing Technology and Techno-Societal. He has played a pivotal role as the sponsor of projects at IIT Delhi, Bombay, IIT Kanpur, BHU, Badu, and Schwerin. He has 10 patents in nanotechnology, MEMs, and sensors, and in the handicraft fields. For the plenary sessions now, I hand over the charge to Dr. Priya Iyer from the School of Life Sciences, Punyashra Kahila Devi Worker, Solapur University, Solapur, for the plenary sessions.
A very good morning to the dignitaries, scholarly delegates, esteemed participants, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Priya Iyer, an assistant professor at School of Life Sciences, Punyashra Kahila University. It is my immense pleasure to introduce our first plenary speaker,
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Dr. Prahlad Vadakekar, a professor at National University of Singapore, is the founder secretary of the Federation of International Professors Association and was its general secretary between 2000 and 2016. Dr. Vadakekar has over 3 decades for research expertise in artificial intelligence and robotics. This translational research has led to several startups in robotics, AI, and 3D printing in the government as well as in India. He is an advisor of the Dignitary Consortium and has developed affordable emergency care ventilators during the COVID-19 pandemic. Dr. Vadakekar is the editor-in-chief for the Single Reference Book on Humanoid Robots. This humanoid robots and the robots of the teams have consistently won several international prizes. He has a residential college at National University of Washington, where proactive pastoral care, mentoring, and leadership training are possible. He has produced 3 full-length feature films in Malayalam language, which has received applause at international film festivals. We are honored to have Dr. Vadakekar sir with us today. We all
यूट्यूब
welcome
चल
you,
रहा
sir.
है ना लिंक भेजा सब पार्टिसिपेंट को यूट्यूब का आ गए थे लोग यूट्यूब पे दिखते क्या पार्टिसिपेंट आ गए ना अभी आए होंगे साथ 10 मिनट पहले
Namaskar. It's a great pleasure to be here. I used ChatGPT to understand Lord Vital, and I have few lines to give.
It's a privilege to be here in the sacred land of Padarpur, where the devotion to Lord Vittal fills the air with divine energy and inspiration. I'm deeply moved by the kindness and warmth of the people here, reflecting the values of love and compassion that Lord Vittal embodies. May we continue to uphold these virtues in all our endeavors, fostering unity and progress for everyone. Thank you for welcoming me with such open hearts. Yesterday, I was flying from Kochi to Pune, and next to me there was a lady. My Hindi is very bad. I can read and write Sanskrit and Hindi, but I'm not good at pronouncing. Speaking in Hindi. She cannot understand English. We started speaking in Hindi. Oh my goodness. It was a very, very unique experience. She was showing her son's wedding photograph, who is working in Siemens in Germany. She is a sugarcane farmer. She explained me about sugarcane. And I was really impressed by her sincerity to have a conversation with me. That makes humanity great. That makes human beings great. That makes us great. And that's what I could see here every moment I stepped into this space. So thank you very much for it. I have some slides, I have some videos also. Listen to the whispers of your soul. They know the way. You know, it was by Ruby. And I'd like to ask you, are you a poet? Have you written a poem before? Anyone? Wow, okay. We should not miss our artistic skills, our literary skills, even if you are engineers or doctors or project managers or whatnot. Okay? Do you like poems? Yes. How many of you like poems? Wow, great. I used to write poems in my childhood. At that time, I used to get some awards and all that, but not great at the school level. But I became an engineer, and I got into robotics, AI, control systems, etc. And I lost touch with poems. So can I rekindle my interest in poems? So what happened was, in 2020, COVID came. I never lived alone. I never lived without my wife. My son came to India for studying here. And I was alone for the first time because my wife was in Kerala, I was in Singapore, my son was elsewhere. For the first time, my family was separated. And I became lonely. And I longed for my mother. I lost my mother when I was 12 years old. My youngest brother, who is in Boeing, Seattle now, was just 1 year old when my mother passed away. I cried. I cried a lot. And I wanted to write a poem for my mother, to think of my mother. And I wrote in Google Gemini, craft a poem with the revelation that mother is inside you. When I cried, there was an inner voice saying, Prahlad, the mother is in you. And that was a relief. With all the tears running down, I was in peace. Write a poem that the mother is beside you, and everything will be all right. The difficulties faced in life will vanish from within, opening up a new world of love and wisdom. And I got that poem. I will not read all the lines, but I will read 2 stanzas. I sought her essence in every face, a yearning heart in life's endless race, a whisper, soft, within the soul's core. She is here beside you forevermore. And the last stanza, no longer lost. In shadows confined, a mother's embrace, I knew I'll now truly find within my heart her spirit resides, guiding my steps where wisdom abides. We can do more than what we are capable of doing. Though I am not a poet, I can use AI tools to really complement, supplement, empower myself. I write to my nieces. I write to my nephews. I write to my sister-in-laws. I have a big family. We live together as a joint family. And all of their problems, they let me know. Parents, children not connecting each other, this is an issue, and everybody is on the mobile phone, screen time, and all that. So I craft my own words, recraft that in ChatGPT, and translate it to Malayalam if it is needed, and pass it to my nieces, nephews, and my sister-in-laws. So I like to say, connect with yourself, connect with your mother, connect with your father, connect with your brothers and sisters, and everybody around, and try to be living in using this one. Okay? So with that, I would like to move on. The last time I wrote a poem was decades ago, so I could rekindle that. So I'm from National University of Singapore, originally from Palakkad, Kerala, but my surname is Gupta. I don't know, our community moved from north in 7th century, down Tamil Nadu and Kerala, we settled there. I work in robotics and artificial intelligence, and also I'm an entrepreneur, and I have other interests also. I make movies and other stuff. So these are the robots which I developed long back, and that's my former student's fiancée. She is doing an exercise, and whatever motion is captured with a measuring tape to make the robot below to do the exact same thing, but with 2 hands. Moving the right hand, the polynomial equations, kinematics, dynamics, and every difference when you do with the left should be mirror images. Now I'll press, and all other 5 videos will go. This is a skating robot. There's a dancing robot. Unfortunately, the audio is not coming. I'm not sure why. Let me see whether I have muted my system. And then I have the football playing robot. Okay, so. This is the Doom Matale Doom song. Okay. I'm sorry. So So, humanoids are very hard now. We don't know when we'll buy humanoids to assist us. But there's so much research here. Our gaze, the angles, how much we can move, how much we should not move. If we move a bit shorter or longer, we will fall down. Walking on two legs is the most difficult thing on earth. It's an inverted pendulum. So many degrees of freedom. It's a multi-body dynamics. From the day we are born till we leave this space, the brain controls our body. And can manage this very well, more or less, right? Unfortunately, we evaluate that brain with written examinations. And we get A grades, B grades, C grades, and F grades. So personally, I don't believe in exams. I don't give any exams to my students. I believe only continuous assessments, engagements, and I never fail my students. I'm not here to fail anybody. Who am I to believe in that in the first place? So we have to really understand the complexities of these problems. So Dr. Shah was mentioning about the theme. It's a very important thing. You need to know the broader thing. Also go deeper into that. So making all these robots, it's very complex. Now Optimus by Tesla is capable of doing a lot. You need to have not only the technology, you need to have the money also. Then only you can have a business case and make things affordable. Affordable for the common man to use. If you want to make this one piece, you may need millions of dollars. But if you make it billions, it will come to less than $1,000. That's the economy of scale. So whatever you study, do not study for the maths, or the physics, or the chemistry, or the engineering part of it alone. You look at it, how it will impact the society. That's why this particular conference is positioned very well. So I'll be talking about AI, robotics, influence in the future. You will be graduating in a couple of years, or maybe 4 years, or another decade by the time you complete your engineering, post-graduation, or PhD. What is in store for us? Have you heard about the word Industry 4.0? The fourth industrial revolution? How many of you have heard that word? Okay. There is Industry 5.0 also now. Do you think you will have the job by the time you graduate? Or do you think what kind of jobs will be available by the time you graduate? You have to be very mindful about it. So I'll walk you through some of the happenings out there. Now, humanoids walking on two legs, inspired by humans, but we were not walking on two legs all the time. Monkeys or chimpanzees and humans, we have only 2% difference in DNA. But that makes a whole lot of difference. What made us to be different and unique? The first major leap in the evolution of humankind was, instead of walking on 4 legs, we started the 2 arms free. I can hold things. I can make tools. A mother can hold a baby, and then all the lullabies and the eyes-to-eyes coordination and breastfeeding made social interactions between humans to a different level. And we did a lot of things because of that. The sociality really helped us to what we are here. And unfortunately, that sociality is now becoming quite small. The very existence, the very way we evolved to become what we are here with all the amenities, we are not looking at that. And you need to revisit it. So sociality is very important. And with bipedalism, working on 2 legs, and that was not sufficient. Of course, we had the structure modified. pelvis modified, spinal cord, the legs, everything changed. But that alone is not sufficient. We have to increase our size of the brain to become what we are today. And how we became like that. That goes to the fire. We did not have control over the fire for a long time. But when we didn't have control over the fire, whatever food you eat, you have to chew it continuously. Look at the animals. They take a lot of time to chew. And some of the animals, they have 3 or 4 cycles to really manage, because raw food is not easy for our stomachs to digest. So we used to spend a lot of time for hunting. We used to spend a lot of time for chewing. We used to spend a lot of time for sleeping. We didn't have much time for thinking. We didn't have much time for sociality, conversations, language, and all came later. But this is the cooking hypothesis. So cooking is very important. Now we are moving away from that also. And I can get it from a hotel. We don't know how to cook. Cooking helps us to become what we are. So my dear friends, go back to cooking. In the hostel where I am the head, every 14 student has a kitchen. I buy kitchen appliances for them. I have a fridge for them. I give money to everybody to really cook. And cooking is very much part of sociality. Connectedness, sense of belonging, sense of mattering. I'll talk about that to a second. You feel being connected with somebody. You are here because you matter for others and others matter to you. So folks, whether male or female, young or old, try to learn cooking. And 1970s, we had the technological revolution. And that's what we are here. Now, if you quote Sundar Pichai, AI is considered as the next leap. Bipedalism, fire, and now AI. We don't know the capabilities of AI. And Google recently released a quantum chip which can do things just like that in 5 minutes. A supercomputer will take septillion years to really do it. Think of the possibilities. Such a hardware with advanced AI be capable of it. So we all have to learn AI. There's nothing artificial about it anymore. We know what it is. It is from our brain. You know, the proposed simple experiment about salivating of a dog when food is being arrived, brought in, and how a meal of that was associated. That was an alias design or modeling, mathematical modeling of neurons. So, good to learn. So, bipedalism, 10 to 5 million years ago, fire 700K, electricity in between 1970 and 52. Now, this is the 4th leap for humankind with AI. So now, people talk about AI, big data, chips, cloud, automation algorithms, and AI or data is the new oil. Everybody's concerned about it. I have to sign a 25-year-old non-disclosure agreement with a company. I may not be there, that's true, with the hospital ourselves. I may not be there for 25 years. Okay? So how many of you know about AI? Can I have a raise of hands, please? How many of you know AI? How many of you studied AI? Good. How many of you are applying AI? Good. Now, AI is philosophy, cognitive science, math, psychology, computer science, traditional. But this AI died already, long back. Because traditionally AI was supporting manipulation. Prahlad is a symbol standing for this biological entity. Named after 6 months of my birth. That name Prahlad doesn't change. Did not change. But I have changed a lot. My embodiment, the biological entity inside me changed a lot. Anything that cannot change with respect to time, no use it. Everything has to change. Now, if you want to see any learning, any adaptation, change is a must. That's why you study dy by dt, the friction of a variable y with respect to time. Y with respect to time is very crucial. Change is inevitable. And later in 80s came machine learning, where parameters can be changed, and a lot of things changed in 2010 with deep learning. And there are other extreme learning machines also, where no longer algorithms are written by humans. Algorithms are now written by other algorithms. That's the biggest thing we have to understand. I don't want to say that as a challenge, because human mind and brain has so many billions and trillions of neurons in our brain. We will find a way to manage AI also. Now, what is learning? Here, for the human eye to visualize, I am using colors and shapes. The data, as such, doesn't have any shapes and colors. This is only for the human eye. And new data comes. How do I recognize whether it is green or orange or square or circular? And we try to really find that, right? And classify. So the shape and color would be two features with which I will be able to really differentiate it. And that is by a teacher, supervised learning. A teacher says, this is apple, this is orange, and this is Prahlad, this is someone else. Then you'll be able to visualize and get some features about that individual. Our brain is capable of doing that. I may not be able to remember your names, but I'll be able to remember your face. I had mustache, I had hair. Of course, still I have both, okay? I share it with you. And in Singapore airport, we don't have to meet any person. It's all automated. So before COVID, I had mustache and hair. I shaved it because I didn't want to stay in the queue for a long time during COVID time. And then I became used to that. And post-COVID, when I walked through, the system did not reject me because I don't have a mustache or a hair. So it is not based on the mustache and the hair AI understands you. It's about the features. It's about optical flows and several aspects, width and length and all that. So, such capabilities you can pass on to the AI algorithm in a supervised manner, and you do classification or regression. COVID gave the waves, predictions, and he said, based on the past data, you fit a curve which is polynomial in nature or highly nonlinear in nature, identify the parameters of that, and you will be able to extrapolate the future. But initially, COVID was unknown. We did not know about the features. We did not know how to manage it. That was unsupervised. We don't have a teacher to tell you that it was a COVID. We need to experience it. We have to go through it. We went through it. Actually, we had all the difficulties in the initial days. Later on, we relaxed most of it. So we do go for clustering and anomaly detection. how Nipah virus was identified in Kerala is just 3 kilometers from my house. One doctor, he's not a typical guy. He thinks out of the box. He made a comment on the sideline. This has got this particular symptom, so it cannot be this, it cannot be that disease, it cannot be that. We always say it's not that, it's not that, it's not that. We say that about our Lord also, right? It's not that, it's not that. Because it's difficult to understand the Lord's, right? The Lord or the God, similarly. Then he said, there is another symptom, saying it cannot be this. So he ruled out all the non-existing diseases. Then there was a lady who listened to him and she decided to send the sample to national, I think it's in Pune, if I'm not wrong, or Pune, and they identified him quickly and we could act on time and we saved a lot of life. So questioning is very important. Don't doubt, but question. These two are different. Ask a lot of questions in yourself and try to encourage that. And that's what is required. That's why when something moves away from normal, you detect an anomaly, a variation. That's all about it. That's unsupervised. And the third is reinforcement learning. Very simple. You know how to make a paneer masala or tikka, right? How do you do that? You add things one by one, take enough time for boiling or warming, or you do certain things. You don't really taste in between because that in between taste is of no value to us. We wait till the process is completed and then taste it. My goodness, I've had to go back and little more of that, little less of this, little more time for that cooking. We give rewards after completing a process. We're giving rewards to the backside, okay? Or the previous actions. And next time you do better. That is reinforcement. An agent in a kitchen cooking paneer tikka masala is reinforcement. So why I'm saying all this is, we have a notion that if something new comes, an ordinary person cannot understand. That's not true. We have a wrong notion to associate a lot of maths to anything that is new, especially AI. Why? We can understand the concept. So I was in Loka Kerala, some of the upper body of Kerala government for 2 years, and I told them, even a grandma can understand AI. There's something wrong about it. Grandma can classify people. Grandma can understand people. Grandma can. In my grandma used to predict when the awesome will go bad or good. And she was in charge of everything in the first place. We lost that tradition now, unfortunately. You don't have to have a degree to be intelligent. You don't have to have a degree to be great in the first place. I'm not looking down on the degree, my friends. But I don't have the notion that you have to have a degree to be great. Now, there are a number of algorithms from our evolution. So the humanoid robot playing the football and also diving to save the goal, we use what is known as genetic algorithm. When our parents meet, X and Y chromosomes are exchanged. Some part of the mother's genetical code and some part of the mother's combined and the babies are born. So X and Y associate 0 to X and 1 to Y, and you can code all that genetic code in zeros and ones. And that is simple. So I used genetic algorithm to optimize the performance of my humanoid robot. If you can create an objective function, that objective function either to be maximized or minimized, energy to be minimized, time to be minimized, or efficiency to be increased, then you can use this code to really find optimal parameters. Genetic algorithm is simple. It's equivalent to if I blindfold myself. So there is I have information that there is a peak, and I'm blindfolding myself. So I don't know how to go. So what I do, I try to touch randomly here and there and try to find, say that's a peak. That's it. The minimum number of points will be able to reach the point. It's like a person with blindness using a stick to identify his path or obstacles. That's what genetic algorithm is also. Then there are quite a number of others. I will not go into the details, but the B algorithm is very interesting. I don't know whether you have Uber here, Uber or Ola. What is that service here? How you get a car to associate with your request? That is using the basic algorithm is bee Cowley algorithm. So you have a honey bee, then you put, say, honey at different locations, and how the honey bee will go and find with the minimum time to come back to the original point. It's called the simple traveling salesman problem. And that algorithm is useful for if you have, say, n number of cars available. X number of cars available and y number of requests of users. So all these. Is okay? Can you hear me? Okay. Thank you. All these algorithms are useful, whether it is civil engineering, mechanical, electrical, electronics, computer, everything. And there's another wrong notion that AI is computer science. No. Because when you have embodiment, and you have to apply to a particular application domain or domain, you need to have subject matter expertise associated. So let's do that. Now with AI and robotics, something is happening. This is called the sliding autonomy. Let me ask you a question. There is a board. If you have to come and draw a straight line, how many of you can do that? Think about that question, okay? Can you really do that? Any human being can draw a straight line? How many times you can do that? Somebody is capable of doing one straight line. How many times that person can continue to draw? 100 times, 1,000 times, 1 million times? No. Are we meant to draw straight lines? That's a question. We are not. We are never meant to be precise. We are never meant to be great in anything. But if you practice, you can be great in something. You can have an Asha Bhosle, right? Or Lata Mangeshkar, or Sachin Tendulkar, or the champion, world champion yesterday, Gogush, right?
Mukesh.
Yes. You have put a lot of effort there. So, in general, humans are not meant to be good in doing simple tasks. But coming and say, shaking hands with our gentleman here is a very complex thing, if I really go there. Can I jump here? No. So I have to really walk around, and then I have to see there is a rope lying here, then I have to really take the steps, and then I have to go and look at his face. Hello, how are you, man? You want to get up? Yes. And taking that. And then I want to hug him. You have to hug him. No, how much of the technique is there? How much of intelligence is there? If I have to do a human or robot to do that, it's not easy at all. Very difficult. So we are good at complex things. And robots were good at drawing the simple straight lines. Simple tasks. And machine intelligence were good at simple tasks, but traditionally. We were that way. That was complementing. And no problem. We can coexist. And we'll be like that. More or less. It may change slightly. But what is happening to machine intelligence? They are becoming good at even complex tasks. So I can give an example. I was an examiner to a project wherein very big pipes. Oh, sorry. Okay. Thank you. That's also a very interesting observation. So, this is a mechanical engineering problem that I was an examiner. Big pipes, okay? Very big pipes. We have to do a T-junction. This junction, where you weld, is not in a two-dimensional plane. It is three-dimensional plane. Humans have to do it. We're doing it on site. You cannot bring these pipelines to the laboratory or workshop. You have to go there. And how it will be placed? Very complex environment. We humans were capable of really doing it, or we are capable of doing it. But we'll never be perfect all the time. And if there is an imperfection, no consistency, there will be issues. So that student's work was to automate it with a mobile manipulator, with a welder and welding thing at the end of it. And he did it. He used Microsoft Keynote at that time, now Azure Keynote, three-dimensional mapping of that particular joint, and fitting polynomial equations piecewise with continuity in terms of the points as well as the slope. He connected with that and he did that with the welding. So that's the beauty of it. Now robots can do that. Complex things in real environments. So that's a traditional industrial robot. Let me ask you something. If I switch off the lights in that industry, what happens? Will the robots continue to work or not? Those who think it will work, raise your hands. Only few are raising. I mean, others do not want to say about it. Or those who think it will work, it will not work. You want to raise your hands? Yeah. Okay. Now, there are two aspects to it. If the robots have sensors to really sense the environment, and the light is required in the visible range to sense it, it will stop working. But very traditional systems where they don't use sensors, it will continue to work. It's called light out industry. You can switch off the lights in many of the industries unless the sensors require ambient light. So in Noida, there is a cement factory, very huge. There are multiples of them. But only 2 people are there. You know why the second person is required? As per Indian labor law, one person cannot work. Actually, nobody is really required there. So much automation is happening. And this is a collaborative robot looking at our arms. And we can really put our head in the workspace of a robot because it can sense and it won't hurt us. The traditional robots, we are not allowed to enter into their space. So sharing the space is another aspect of it. Now, we need to understand how these are affecting our industry. That's where the fourth industrial revolution comes. 1784, mechanization, steam power, building looms. Another century, mass production, assembly line, electrical energy. Another century, automation, computers, and electronics. But this is not a century, it is half a century. Industry 4.0. I'll show another one. It is overlapping. Industry 5.4 also started. This is called cyber physical system, Internet of Things and networks. Everything is connected. So technology is associated with autonomous robots, Internet of Things to sense processes and activities, and that will really lead to a lot of data, and that is stored in the cloud. AI algorithms will do the analysis, get the insights, and you may have to have cyber security to really take care of the security of the systems. And subtract, we used to do subtractive manufacturing. We have a big chunk of food and you chisel it off to get the shape of a particular shape. But now it is not. You can add on to it. Or 3D printing or additive manufacturing is being used, and augmented reality for training quality instructions. All these technologies are ushering in what is known as the fourth industrial revolution. The factory of the future will have all these things. Collaborative robots, where humans and robots can share the space and time, and then IoT sensors, equipment will be modular, and computer vision will be progressive. Now, one of the ports in Singapore has over 2,000 cameras. Singapore, in the last 5 years, saw tremendous, development in terms of startups coming, focusing on vision. There are over 200 startups. Unmanned trucks, wearables to lift heavy items, blockchain for security, and predictive machine analytics. This is the area which I work on lately. You don't have to wait for something to go wrong. You see whether what is going to go wrong. So next Monday, I'm going to start my Ayurveda massage. Every 6 months I do that. Why? I don't want to really, I am 60 now, I don't want to face something little bit at home. If I can manage myself better, why not? Help my body to survive, right? So you act ahead of time with the help of sensing, with the help of data, with the help of analysis using AI, whether say, what is the possibility of something going wrong? Now, I like to know that we are all capable of doing that. So my father had a power loom long back in 80s. So I went to Europe, a place in Tamil Nadu. There were about less than power looms running simultaneously, and there was an elderly person, and I was watching a lot of noise. All the aircons, no? If one of the aircons really goes wrong, will you be able to identify which has gone wrong? We cannot. We lost the capability to do that. And that elderly person got up, went to a particular power loom, without doubt, okay? And put together thing, came back, started working. Which the noise, the differentiating, the change in the working of the power loom, she was capable of understanding what has gone wrong. That is what is used even now in vibration analysis. This is one way of doing it. But vibration analysis is looking externally, the effect of a change on something else. But here, predictive analytics will talk about sensors inside is possible. Not all processes allow sensors inside. It's called black box. You can't really know what is happening. So AI in robotics is affecting everything, including education. Will I be somebody like me doing a presentation 10 years from now, 20 years from now, or AI avatar will do, or my avatar will do? Possible. That's the way it is going. So robotics and AI has omnipresence in every area. So you don't really associate AI with computer science. You can apply that in any area. So I see 3 promising scenarios. Enhanced cognition for autonomy with a lot of sensors, miniature sensors, quite accurate systems will become autonomous. Whether it is autonomous vehicles or the Noida cement factory or other systems. And smart mobility in human environment is possible. And with that, human-robot coexistence is going to happen. Now, traditionally we wanted to have robots or machines to act like humans. And we have rules, basic process automation. Then learn, enhance automation. Then now we are going to go to reasoning, explainable AI. Why a decision is taken in this manner? For a robot to use, a doctor to use, medical doctor to use AI, it's now the decision only not to the doctor to really act on it. He needs to know or she needs to know why such a decision is being made, why it is being processed in this manner. And then eventually we have to think like a human. This is happening. And people are worried about this, but LLMs, large language models came and it's so possible. Now, all the countries in the world, they are putting effort into this. So it is Make in India or Bharat, precision manufacturing in Singapore, and manufacturing in the United States, in USA. Every country is investing a lot into this. So, my former student and my son had a company, he has a company in Chennai. They got two big projects because of the Bharat for the Indian Navy. It was being done in USA before, but because of Bharat, they got the project. The most of the time, I think as Professor Shaw was saying, you may not know the subject or the subject matter information or subject matter expertise we don't have. We have the knowledge, but we want to know from the ground how to bring AI and other algorithms into the particular domain. Now I'm working with civil engineers. During COVID, we could not get foreign workers for construction in Singapore. All the constructions in Singapore was done by people from abroad. And now the government is putting a lot of emphasis on how to use robotics and AI in civil construction. I had to learn civil engineering at the age of close to 60. Taxonomy, where automation can be used. And one problem one of my PhD scholars working on is there will be hundreds of thousands of items on a construction site with mud, water, partially occluded objects and equipment, tools. How do you identify what is what? If you have vision, if you have LIDAR. So there is an algorithm, I don't remember the expansion, click algorithm. It's a database, pre-trained algorithm. A lot of objects are connected to the words, the names, and he is using that. Of course, we have to improve upon it. And we have done that, we have published it. So, it will happen in every space. I have data from one of the hospitals in Singapore. Anybody going through an operation, the first organ being affected is the kidney. It is called acute kidney injury. Is it possible to predict acute kidney injury with pre-ICU, pre-operation data, or while the operation is going on, how much minimum data is required for you to predict that something is going to happen in the future? That's a way to help. So the mantra with Industry 4.0 is, one company alone cannot develop things by themselves. You don't have all the expertise. So open innovation and co-development. It is there for a long time in South Korea and Singapore and many parts of the world. And this is happening. And when you have multiple organizations coming together, you have inclusive leadership. The egos of the CEOs and CTOs have to really be properly managed. And you have to develop quickly because others will not wait for you. I know one of my PhD scholars were, everything was done, about to click submit, my scholar said it's already published, part of it, 80% of it is already published. That's the rate at which things are changing. You have to be agile. And while doing that, you have to be frugal and sustainable. United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. You should not waste things. So, close innovation is you bound yourself. I know everything kind of thing. This conference is to really move away from this. Bring people from different parts of the world to share information. And you have to collaborate with external entities. And this is what is being happening right now. So during COVID, my son will talk about that later. My company in Singapore and me, my former students and my son's company in Chennai, Kochi, and Sun Labs in Kochi. This is my friend's company. They came together to come up with affordable ventilators. That was the need of the society, and it was developed without any financial benefits or concerns. We got a lot of money. We also collaborated with Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Prana Foundation for sharing the ventilator. So, with all this, Industry 4.0, more efficient production processes, customer-centric development, new models of marketing and business, and of course, you manage that, you have the risk to be managing the, cyber security and other stuff. Now, I spoke till about Industry 4.0. There is Industry 5.0. The issue with Industry 4.0 is keeping people away from industry. But that is going to change in the next industrial revolution. We bring people back. So Industry 5.0 is already started. Sustainability is one of the core pillars. If something goes wrong, how to come back to operation and bringing people back to the industry. That is human centered. But in all these processes, yeah. Okay, I'll see. Thank you. There are a lot of jobs being lost. There is a creative destruction. 2027, 23% of the jobs will be changed. And new jobs will be created also. So, the majority of the jobs will be stable, but jobs lost, jobs created. There is a difference. So, you have to be very mindful. In China is impacting a lot. Then next India, US like that. So some of these jobs are growing very well in terms of the expertise. All these jobs will vanish. You will not need a bank. You don't need it anymore. You don't need a person for that. Postal service, data entry, administrative, executive. So you would have skills. The creative thinking, system thinking, these skills you develop. And so I have a few slides here because different students have different thinking and behavior preferences. And I'll skip this. So we have what is known as analytical, conceptual, structural, and social thinking differences. We use a corporate tool to analyze ourselves and our students. So I created a Gurukula system in NUS. In 2017, I was appointed to start that. And 2022 university accepted that model. And then now we have two more, and another one starting in 25, and the fifth one starting in 2029. You know what this means? We hear you with heart. Okay? We hear you. So, we prepared for a lifetime of careers. I was all along in education. I became an entrepreneur. But for the young minds, I would like to say, I'm not sure whether it will be the same career for you. My son is working in different industries, multitasking, multiple things. With that, I would like to thank everyone for listening to me, and thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening us about humanoid robots and how deep learning strives to make machine AI capable to work. Thank you, sir. Moving to the next talk, it is my honor to introduce second plenary speaker, Professor Dr. R. Logeshwaran. Professor Logeshwaran is the Dean of Science and Digital Technology at University Malaysia. He is also an adjunct professor with Beltech Rangarajan, Dr. Sakunthala R&D, Institute of Science and Technology, India, as well as a visiting professor with GND Engineering College, Plenary, India. Professor Logeshwaran formerly served as the Dean of Graduate Studies, Head of the Asia Pacific Center for Analytics, and Professor of Computing and Engineering. An academic with over 25 years of experience, he has provided leadership at several private institutions, including as the Dean of Information Technology at City University, Malaysia, Dean of Engineering, Science and Technology at Nilai University, as well as Acting Dean of Engineering and Deputy Dean of Postgraduate Studies at Multimedia University, Malaysia. Graduating with B Engineering Honours Computing at Imperial College, London, United Kingdom, he completed his Masters and PhD at Multimedia University and postdoctoral research in Korea. His research interests are in image processing, data corporations, artificial intelligence, data science, with over 180 publications in books, peer-reviewed journals, and international conference proceedings. Professor Logeshwaran has been a recipient of a number of scholarships and awards, including from Telecom Malaysia, Japanese Cooperative Society, Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, Brain Gain Malaysia, Brain Korea 21, and the Medal for Long and Commensurate Services for the Malaysian government. Professor Yogeshwaran is a senior member of the Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers and the eminent past chair of the award-winning IEE Signal Processing Society, Malaysia chapter. He actively serves as a keynote speaker, guest of honor, invited speaker, and a panel speaker at many international conferences, and has co-organized numerous international conferences too, including the recent IEE flagship international conference on image processing, which was conducted in 2020. Additionally, he actively volunteers as a judge in STEM and innovation competition for school and colleges and local international level. So we all welcome you. Thank you.
Very good afternoon to the dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, experts, professors, participants, speakers, right? Thank you very much for having me here. I know it's getting close to lunchtime, so everyone's very anxious, so let me get through this. But firstly, I'd like to congratulate the organizing committee for an excellent conference, a conference that is very timely. The development in technology, of course, is there. It's tremendous, especially now AI and so on. We are progressing at a fantastic rate. At the same time, of course, what tends to happen is the progress may not actually meet the needs of the society as was brought up earlier. So I thought this topic might actually be useful, looking at some of the digital tools that have come about and how it would be able to address the needs of the underprivileged. Okay? And underprivileged here, of course, could mean various things. It's not just people in poverty, it could be people who do not have the connections, who do not have the resources, who do not have the access to certain things, for instance, being remotely located and so on. So, very quickly, thank you so much for the introduction just now. We've already said that, so let's skip through. Now, very quickly, we signed an MOU just now, and thank you very much for that. So, we hope to have greater collaborations in future. For those of you who do not know, the university's name may not be a big name. So, Hub University is located in Malaysia, and it's over where that arrow is. Okay. Alright, so we have two campuses, both in Kuala Lumpur and Selangor. Kuala Lumpur is the capital of Malaysia. Alright, so that's my campus. It's considered the green campus. Whether it is really sustainable, that's something we have to look into. But the idea was that to incorporate more green technology, have a more green environment, physically green as well, and provide a conducive environment for people. Right? Just again, this is the other campus, which is a more corporate building, but it has all the facilities as well. And so some of the services, as I said, we literally try to make it look green. So we have studying with water features, studying in the green environment, having discussions with nature and so on. Right, so modern library concept. Lots of student spaces, places where you can hang out, so that you still keep in touch. We are trying to get away from just being stuck to your devices, although yes, we do promote a lot of technology. Right, and of course then the other facilities. Interesting feature there is we have a very small cafe. So what do? We have a food truck lane or food truck street, where we have food trucks selling food, which makes it interesting for the students because it gives you a different vibe compared to the traditional canteen dining hall style. Right? Okay, and this is from the other campus. The university does law, psychology, business, languages, and so on. So we've got a moot court and so on. Okay, and some of the programs under my faculty itself, we're not that big, but we do diploma, we do computer science, IT, data analytics, data science, and we're promoting 2 new programs as well, hopefully to be launched by mid next year. Right? We have what's known as work-based learning, where students can do 2 years in the university and spend the whole final year in the industry, while achieving the learning outcomes that are required. Okay, skip that. And we also promote pathways. Okay, so many students come to us, they do a part of the program with us, and then move on to other universities. So one of the interesting ones that many students tend to like is come and do a diploma with us for 2 years, and then go over to, let's say, the University of Queensland, complete their degree within 1.5 years. Which is very amusing because you can't even do the degree that fast in Malaysia. In Malaysia, we do a 3-year IT degree. Okay, engineering is 4 years, but since it's IT, it's 3 years. Plus the foundation. By doing that, they do 4 years, that's 3 years plus 1. But doing this, you can actually finish in 3.5 years from after O levels. Okay. Some of the things we give back for school children, for instance, we have this program called Shark Tech, where we do online AI training, and then we also give some training on technopreneurship and allow students to come and do pitching sessions. So we're hoping that there will be some potential startups in technology, even from school levels. Okay, so let me get on with the actual context of the talk. So this one, I'll just do a little bit of introduction, and then move on to digital tools in various domains, just a snapshot, and look into some of the issues and barriers in using digital technology, especially digital tools, especially for the underprivileged, as well as some discussion topics or strategies for the future before I conclude. Okay. So we all know this digital tools, and especially nowadays there's so many types of digital tools out there. Now, whether you're doing hardcore engineering, or you're doing IT, or you're doing languages, you are going to end up using digital tools, right? That's the world we are in. You can't run away from it. I remember traditionally, we were having a discussion about this earlier as well. When data science first came up, we were talking about, yes, there are lots of data professional jobs available. And in Malaysia, when the authority mentioned it, they said there'll be, I think at that time they said something like 15,000 new jobs within the next 1 year. A few months later, I went through another talk with them, and they were saying there'll be 25,000 new jobs. Why? Because they forgot data science affects agriculture, and agriculture has a huge potential. So this is how we are evolving. The areas that we thought would not be touched by technology, especially by IT-related technology, now everything, whether you're doing languages, you're doing dentistry, agriculture, space, undersea, everything's affected. Okay. The question is then, how is it affecting the disadvantaged groups? Because with this ability, with this power of technology, we can now reach further, we can now provide services, we can basically level the playing field. People who couldn't get access now can have access. People who couldn't do certain things because of whether it's physical limitations, health limitations, and so on, now they can. Right? So this is some things that we want to look into. So by leveraging technology, we can help bridge the gap and promote greater inclusion and equality. Right, so let's do education itself. I love asking this question. How many of you have never used ChatGPT? Okay, so I love the question, right? All right. How many of you use ChatGPT didn't put out their hands because now it's become such a norm. Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong using the tools because the tools were created to help us. It is very wrong to cheat. Okay? So when the lecturer says, or the professor says, come, send in this assignment, it is wrong for you to take ChatGPT, stick it there and say, this is my assignment. But actually, there's a bigger problem than that. And one of the talks I just did recently, I proved that there are lots of mistakes. See, generative AI, even by the term, it's generative. It is very creative. It can do art, it can do poems and so on, right? And this is its capability. They never said it is factually correct. We are assuming it is factually correct. Okay? And true enough, most of the time, the facts, okay, they work out. But there's no guarantee. When you're using ChatGPT, for instance, most of us do not seem to pay attention to this. Look at the bottom, below where you take your prompt. What does it say? It can be wrong. Right? Well, not exact word, but it says you. It has been saying that right from the beginning. But some wacky reason we all think, oh, the machine has said so, it must be right. So if you try, and you can try this, okay? I'm sure some of you have tried it. Generate papers, journal articles based on a certain topic. Especially generate with citations, with detailed references in, let's say, a certain format, giving the page number, the volume number, the authors, whatever, including DOI. It will give it to you. You will get this beautifully realistic, factual-looking papers and references. Then what you should do, go check the reference. See if it even exists. You will find half the references do not exist. Because what it did, it generated references. Now most of you who have done this before probably don't even realize it because most of us take it for granted. It looks so real, it must be right. We take it, we use it, we don't think about it. Okay? So something, just look into that, think about it, remember? It's very powerful, very creative, it's a beautiful tool to use those tools in education, but always be aware that it's your responsibility to check. Fact check. Right? Then do whatever you need with it, improve it, augment and so on. So, with this technology that we have, right, some of the communities that can pay, in addition to the average person, would be, say, low-income students. You can use digital tools to get access to, let's say, the information, right? You wanted to know about something, earlier you probably just used Google, now you can just come home and say, okay, let one of the AI tools find the information for you. So it's a good way for you to collect information that otherwise you would not have had access because you couldn't go and purchase the books or you couldn't get to a library with that information. So use that. Students in remote areas, again, where there's a distance issue, where there's access issue, they benefit from this. Individuals with limited access to quality education, maybe due to finance, you can't go to very good universities, so you have to, say, study at the university or the college behind your house. That's fine. You still have access to the information, right? And now with all the MOOCs, all the digital tools out there, all the recorded lectures, tutorials, free services out there, basically you get to learn. The micro-certification, micro-credentials, all those are available for you to learn from. And many of them are free, at least the introductory ones are free. So we have the opportunity to learn, it levels the playing fields. Right? So how do they assist? Basically, they provide free or affordable access to a wide range of courses and learning materials. They offer flexible learning schedules. This again is very important, especially nowadays, especially after COVID. We all now want to study when we want to study. We don't like being told you have to go to class at a certain time. Although you don't like that, you still have to, right? No choice. Okay, so certain things you still have to follow along. But digital tools allows you to catch up. For example, this week I'm supposed to attend a training. I'm here. But they are recording the session, at least I can go back, learn it up on my own time and still sit for the exams. So similarly. Enable self-paced learning, so again, learn at your own time. I know many people or like to study maybe in the middle of the night. You want the daytime for your other activities, nighttime is not study. Great. Digital tools help you. Okay, so there are many example tools available. Quick search will find thousands of them. Next. Okay, healthcare. So healthcare, especially people who again live far away, rural areas, remote areas, individuals with mobility issues. One of the biggest issues that I see, most hospitals require you to firstly get to the hospital, which is difficult enough. Now, I'm not sure about the hospitals in India. In Malaysia, where you park the car and where you go to register is quite a distance. Now, remembering that the fact that fit people are not the ones going to the hospital, it's a bit of irony, right? So when my parents have to go to the hospital, for instance, I really pity them. They can barely walk. I mean, they're having difficulties walking, and they have to park the car somewhere and get to the registration. Then the registration counter will say, okay, register here, pay there. Never mind. The specialist centers or specialist clinics are on the second floor of the other building. Right? So I assume it's something similar over here. Again, having digital tools that may, maybe will give you a quick second opinion, a quick, I don't want to use the word diagnosis, but essentially that, right? At least you get a feel of some quick remedies you could do that may then allow you more time and ease to get to the professional. Okay? Or even professional consultation, maybe remote medicine, telemedicine style to get the facility. So here again, low-income populations are not contained because they don't have to keep going to the actual specialist for every little thing. So telemedicine services are one of those things we look into. Symptom checkers. Right? Nowadays we have a lot of these tools. Again, the only danger with this is check and look for a valid tool. Because everyone's got advice on everything these days. Right? And the problem again with all this access to information out there is you also have great access to mis or disinformation. There are people who purposely put wrong information out there because maybe they're clueless or maybe because they want to create problems. Unfortunately, I mean, again, human beings, we evolve sometimes in the wrong way. So again, it's up to us to check for valid information. And when you use that, it's very effective. Yeah? Appointment scheduling, for instance, something again digital tools can do. So instead, see, this is another one that again I'm not sure if the practice is here. Very often you have to go physically to the clinic to make an appointment. So you spend hours at a clinic just to make an appointment to come back 3 months later. These are things that can easily be solved. And actually the technology has been there for some time, but it's not been implemented well. Maybe because they always felt you needed a nurse to schedule you in. Right? So digital tools again can help in those kind of things. Receive medications remotely. Okay? They were looking at drones, dropping off medicines, right? Delivering medicines. The same way you order your food, you order your medicines. So all that can be done easily. Right? Some of the tools, I'm just naming some of them, but these are just simple examples. So be more out there, so I'm not going specifically into them. For mental health and relaxation, that's a big deal nowadays, right? Again, I hope the students are not using this as an excuse. I know my students sometimes will use it as an excuse. I can't sit for an exam because of mental health issues. And they have to take it very seriously. Now, how can we do prevention then? So, for instance, relaxation, right? Having these tools to play the right type of music, provide you suggestions for the right type of games for you to relax and overcome certain problems. Getting targeted advice based on the issue they may be facing. Again, we're not trying to say these are psychologists or counselors, but at least get you there first. Right. So again, I've mentioned here people with mental health issues that would be of course look into me. Again, I keep mentioning things like low income, remote areas because these people usually have less access to the professionals. So again, tools come in useful, and these tools can provide guided meditation and mindfulness practices. Providing you suggestions of what you can do or what you shouldn't do. It could even include things like what you should eat and do not eat in case of stress and so on and so forth. Offer online therapy sessions, okay, by professionals. So again, telemedicine style, remote counseling. Facilitate access to mental health resources and support communities. Again, this could be, as I mentioned music, materials to read through, practice sessions, videos, and so on. Provide relaxation apps. Right? Okay. For agriculture, again, this is very obvious. Lots of technology out there that can be used. And this again would be especially beneficial for people who are smallholder farmers for low yield agricultural land where you're not getting the harvest that you want, for instance, the Y part of it. So digital tools can be used to do remote sensing. They can be used to monitor the land, your soil content, humidity, etc. Right? So you can improve crop yields, get access to weather forecasts, okay, maybe not diagnosis, indications of pests, for instance, checking the market price, looking at best practices for farming, manage farms in a more efficiently and effective manner. Why? Because again, you get to then plan, use forecasting tools, for instance, right? So the traditional idea of planting one thing only doesn't quite work. Crop cycles with different types of agricultural products work better. But which one should you use? Right, based on the nutrient content of the soil and all those kind of things. These are again things that digital technology can easily provide. Okay, so that will help you improve productivity, save costs, increase income, etc., etc. For community support, right? More and more we are becoming alone. Half the time it's because of our own choice, because we're stuck with our devices. I remember at one point you sit in a computer lab, person will be busy chatting. Chatting with who? The person next to them. They won't turn around and say hi, they'll be like, hi. Right? Sound familiar? I mean, this is unfortunately the modern world. This is what we have been doing. We have kind of given up with a human to human, but we'll be doing all this through electronics. That was still okay. Now what do? We chat with the bots. Right? Now, again, if it helps, why not? Right? For instance, the elderly can use this. If you need people to talk to, you can't get around, yes. At least you have some conversations, you don't basically go senile or don't feel too lonely. So these kind of tools again are very useful. To get community support in terms of, especially in remote communities, people live alone, people live far away, individuals without connections or without access to facilities, individuals who require protection and assistance. Again, if you feel that you're in danger or you feel that there's some threat, to be able to connect. So use digital technology for that. Right? So you might get things like, for instance, solutions to find local resources. Where to find? I'm looking for something, where's the nearest location to get that? Okay? Those kind of things, again, digital tools come in. Support networks. Who can I find a community that can help me out in this? Who speaks the same language, so to speak, right? Crowdfunding opportunities, again, through digital tools. Facilitate community engagement, right? Again, for like-minded people, for similar activities. So again, there's some apps available and many others. For financial inclusion, again, this is usually an issue. There are various times people may not have access to certain financial privileges. It could be maybe not even your fault. It could be that, for instance, your identity was stolen, right? And then you can't actually go and open a bank account. Things like that. So there are other ways then to at least get some support, right? So here, just the unbanked or underbanked populations, people who just don't have, maybe they don't have certain documentation that doesn't allow them to go and get a loan, right? So maybe they can go through micro loans through a digital tool support. Small business owners, again, developing regions, again, through crowdfunding, at least they could get some finances. Okay, individuals in need of microloans. So here you can provide mobile banking solutions. So this is called remote. And mobile banking is now becoming the norm. I think many banks now, I remember quite a few years ago, they charge you for counter service. Now I think you just find there's no counter service at all for some of the banks, right? So this is already becoming the norm. Enable secure and easy online transactions. Okay, so again, that's where I think all of us now do that. Like you pay your bills, you do your transferring of money, you buy and sell things, all that online. And of course, offer micro financing and peer-to-peer lending platforms. Okay, employment and skill development. Most popular now is of course applying jobs online. So they have a lot of platforms for that. And that's very useful. Very useful especially for unemployed individuals. And usually those platforms also provide upskilling options. Right? Learning a new skill, get some training or some advice on what you should learn, what you should know. It could be micro-credential style, it could be just training videos, but at least it provides a platform for us to upskill so that you could sort of bridge the gap between your skills, your knowledge with the potential jobs out there. Now again, it was mentioned just now as well, lots of jobs will change. There are lots of jobs that will go away. One of the statistics that I was looking at before was the 83 million jobs will be lost, if I'm not mistaken, by 2025. And the report that I read said that by 2025, 97 million new jobs will appear. Okay? Now the thing is this, the traditional jobs will go. As AI improves, as robotics improves and so on, many of the traditional jobs will go. But there will be many new jobs that appear. We may not have been skilled for it, or we may not have learned those skills required for those jobs. We will need to reskill. Okay? Statistically, currently, if I'm not mistaken, a person would change their jobs at least 3 times throughout their career. In the near future, it will be 7 times. And I believe that number is just going to keep going up because as the jobs change, we need to change. So it's not just changing from company to company, now it's changing the type of job you do. Right? And so that's the kind of things that again, these digital tools will be very useful for. Right? Whether they're privileged, underprivileged, again, this will be still very useful. Okay, so very useful for identified individuals, people trying to upskill or reskill, and freelancers. So freelancing again, things that we never thought of before. Traditionally, we grew up believing, okay, you must work for a solid company, work until you get your pension and so on. Now the world has completely changed. People are not looking for those kind of jobs anymore, right? Gig jobs, for instance, are the big thing. People like to have the flexibility. You want to be able to do multiple types of tasks, multiple types of jobs at the same time. So these are things, again, the online platforms allow you to do. So some of the platforms, they offer you courses and tutorials for your skills, provide ability to connect to potential employers, job matching, so you got things like Job Street and so on, and facilitate freelance job opportunities. Of course, again, the caution here is please check to see that there are no scams. Because again, there's a lot of abuse of technology as well. Alright, accessibility, okay, for instance, people with impairments, okay, let's say visual impairments, hearing impairments, physical disabilities, and or physically challenged, right, and so on. These things, again, digital tools allow you to bridge the gap so that you can get things done. So, for instance, it offers real-time assistance. Real-time assistance here may be simple things like one of the favorite projects for undergraduate students. For the blind, for instance, put sensors on their stick so that it detects objects, right, and alerts. This is the kind of thing that at least provides access or provides information to compensate for whatever disabilities that there may be. Okay, screen readers, okay, or other accessibility features, one's already available. Voice commands and other assistive technologies, again, many of them are available. It can be enhanced further. In terms of communications, to facilitate free or low-cost communications, so this is something, again, there are many tools out there already to help that, but then we also want the communities or the companies, right, to provide or to chip in to help provide these free or low-cost tools to the underprivileged. Provide video conferencing or remote learning, work opportunities, connections, right? The world has changed now. You do not need to be next to each other, talk to each other. Doesn't matter where in the world you are, you can still communicate. So at least provide these opportunities. Offer secure and private messaging for those in need of confidentiality and so on. Okay, this is the more fun part. ability to explore and experiment. So again, many times, if you're underprivileged, especially, you don't get a chance to go see a place. You don't get a chance to travel, right? To simply go on holidays and so on. Now you have a lot of easier ways to do that, right? Through virtual tourism, example, right? Go on a virtual safari, you could go on virtual holidays, explore places that you would not have been able to get to. For instance, I don't scuba dive, but I usually put on a virtual goggles and scuba dive, right? And so on and so forth. So these are things that they are low cost alternatives that allow such abilities. So it facilitates virtual experiences, allows detailed understanding without the high cost of purchasing or traveling. You get to know the place, you get to learn about the place without having to physically go there, but still having that, let's say, immersive experience. Okay, allows, offers safe exploration. That's another one. You want to jump off a cliff, kind of dangerous. Do it virtually. You get the feel, at least you know what you expect to see without actually endangering yourself, right? Okay, tools for creativity, innovation, and productivity. Now this, again, back to typically the AI tools that are there. So this would be, of course, be able to provide ideas. Now, I like to bring back generative AI into the picture here. Generative AI, again, it is meant to be creative, which makes it then excellent for innovation. We are supposed to innovate, but sometimes you stare at a board and you have no idea what to come up with. Sure, go ahead, ask ChatGPT. What new ideas, could, or what new things could you do in this particular field? Get some ideas. It may be right, it may not be wrong, but if you're brainstorming, why not? Look at the ideas, and then that might then spark some ideas for you to then take it further. Right? So these are all good things that you can make full use of such technology. Right? It speeds up knowledge discovery, being able to pool the vast amount of information out there. Last time we do a Google search, comes up with a million search hits, and then you start looking at one by one. Now you can just say, okay, let's say, give me a report on the state of the art. Okay, so at least you put everything in front of you very quickly, and then you can then take it from there. Okay, allows creation of solutions and presentation of ideas beyond the ability of the user alone. So, a simple example, let's say I do not know how to code, okay, especially code in a certain language. You could again use these tools to ask for sample code. Now, of course, we still have to check to see if it works well, right? But these are examples that you can use, then try to compile, see if it works, optimize it, and so on. But at least it gets you started. So now, doing research, for instance, can be speeded up quite dramatically. I know one of my colleagues, and he's in his almost 80s, he's actually using a lot of AI for his research. But in his case, for instance, he studied old school. Hence, he understands, he's been in this field for so long, he understands what's needed. Now he just uses the tools because he knows how to fact check easily enough. He uses the tools to speed his processes up. He doesn't rely on the tools for the answers and analytics, but to speed up implementation, for instance, right? Speed up generation of synthetic data, for instance, all these kind of things. These tools become very useful. Right? So, as a productivity tool, definitely. For creativity, why not? Right? I like using ChatGPT for coming up with, say, images to represent something, because it does it way better than I would ever do it. Okay? So it's useful for using these tools to provide ideas. Okay. And of course, some of the tools you're using all the time already have this kind of capabilities. Right, for knowledge sharing, quick fixes, lots of digital tools out there, lots of videos out there that can be used. Again, this is very useful to, let's say, look at quick fix. Something's not working. How to get it to work? I'm sure you're doing it all the time anyway. To check, let's say, YouTube, look for something others have done in order to find a quick fix for it. Now I put areas without electricity there. That was because some of these ideas, they don't have to be digital ideas. Use digital tools to get the ideas. So this issue, this was actually something I won an award a long time ago. how to get some light into areas without electricity, right? So the use of bottle, using sunlight to come up with this bulb. This kind of ideas, it is simple, it's very doable, but you may not have come up with the idea. So use the tools to get this, get information about it. Okay, now with all the digital tools, of course, there are lots of issues that also come with it. And the first one there, plagiarism and dishonesty. The issue is when you get something easily, you are tempted to just use it. Okay, so in terms of assignments especially, I've always told my students this: if it's written in good English, you're likely to not be able to paraphrase it. Because if something is written in, let's say, poor English, or poor language, whatever language you're using, you will then be very tempted to change it because you would like to correct it. But if it's already written nicely, it's very hard to change it. So what do? Take it. Paste. I hope my professor doesn't figure it out. Bad news for you is, now many of the tools checks for AI writing. Okay? So I had a recent submission, for instance. The student came, similarity index was very low, about 10% or so. The AI written index, 94%. The student did not even read what the AI gave, just submitted it as a master's dissertation, not even undergraduate, master's dissertation. So what we did, we said, okay, never mind, we call you for the Viva. He got grilled, all the examiners unanimously failed it. First time ever we actually failed a student for a dissertation. Okay? So please be aware. See, using these digital tools for learning purposes is very good, but you must learn. If you're just taking and putting there, you're not learning, so it defeats the whole purpose. Okay, so please make use of that. So please be careful of committing any dishonesty using the tools. Now, there's insufficient effort or lack of critical thinking. This is happening more and more. Now, when we ask for us to think of a solution, we're not thinking. We're just going straight away. Okay, what is the solution? I remember giving a very simple exercise to some students. This was on MATLAB programming. You have a function to generate random numbers. Okay? The random numbers are between 0 to 1. So I told them, okay, I would like you all to generate random numbers between 10 to 20. Very simple basic maths. What they all did, this was the entire class, I went to Google. How to do this? I was just thinking, come on, we're not even trying to think anymore. We're just desperately going and hoping the machine will tell us how to do it. That is very sad. So how are we going to solve real problems later if, for some weird reason, either the tools don't work, or worse still, and this is a simple example. When you use a calculator, you say 1 plus 1, it gives you an answer 3. Hopefully you will not accept that answer. But how many of us know how to calculate anymore? Right? Most of us, when we use a calculator, we key in whatever number, the answer, that's the answer we write. We are not calculating it anymore, so we're not having any kind of critical thinking at all. We're just believing what we see. It becomes dangerous. We will lose the ability to think critically. Yeah. Okay, then the next one here, hallucinations. This is what I was trying to say. AI can hallucinate, and there is a lot of hallucination. It doesn't know it is doing it wrongly. So you can't blame it, right? Based on what it's been trained on, it comes up with something. It's our job to make sure, to check to see if what it comes up with is correct. So like the references just now, for instance, the reference that it comes up with may not exist. It doesn't necessarily know that, right? Its job is to come and create something, it created something. Now we have to go back and see, okay, we wanted something really valid, double check to see whether it exists or not, whether it's done it correctly or not. Privacy issues. The more we use these digital tools, you'll notice we have all kinds of data protection acts. Right? I think every country has that. And that means no one can use your data without your permission. Very good. Now when you try to install anything, what do they ask you for? Click accept. So now you have no choice. If you do not click accept, you cannot use it. But what are you accepting? So my favorite example is this one simple application I was trying to download by an Android device. It was a calculator. It wanted access to my phone book, to my camera, to be able to make calls, I don't know, a few other things. I was thinking, I wanted a calculator. Why does a calculator need access to anything? Right? So luckily I read that, I did not accept. But I think most of my friends would have happily just clicked because it says accept. Click. It could have said sign your life to me. You would have clicked it because we do not read these things anymore. It becomes so automatic for us. Right? So although the act is there, yes, the laws are there, when you have signed off by saying accept, you're given the right away. All this information, remember, once it goes out there in the cloud, it's not lost. It can easily be abused. Right? So please be careful when you use it. When you're using any of these tools, the information you're giving out, please be very, very aware. Okay, and then of course, there's always the other issues, the scams, which are now, practically on a daily basis, we're getting calls, scam calls and so on. Malicious intent, people who collect the information will be using it for very wrong intentions. Cyberbullying, right, and all these kind of issues come up because of the ability of these tools as well. So there must be caution in how we use it. We need to learn how to protect ourselves. And the barriers of using digital tools, especially for the underprivileged, very often the first issue would be in terms of digital literacy. Many of the users, the potential targeted users, may not have the digital literacy to be able to use these tools. Right? So there needs to be more awareness campaigns. Be able to inform them of the benefits, inform them of how to use it correctly and so on. Okay, then of course they may not have access to the technology. And so that's something again needs to be facilitated. We can say, yes, you can use AI, but if you don't even have internet access, then what are you going to do with it? So at least that access has been provided. There could be cultural and language barriers. So again, bridging this, maybe there needs to be more local content to be able to bridge that gap. Right? So you get content that's appropriate for your use. So I got that as limited local content. And maybe there's inadequate support systems. Sometimes we use these tools, when we get stuck, you don't know who to turn to. Right? The help function there isn't good enough. You've got no support system. So that's something that, again, you need. Again, we're talking about underprivileged, where they already have difficulties. They may have a lot of difficulties getting the help that they need in order to use the tools. Okay, financial constraints, inability to purchase the tools or purchase the support equipment. Just now I mentioned things like, say, the virtual goggles, the XR goggles, and so on. Right? You still have to purchase it, so how do you get hold with it? Right? Or if you want to use the tools, at least a smartphone, you still have to have them. Resistance to change. Some people are just used to doing things in a very traditional way. When you tell them, no, change. I tried that with my parents. I said, pay online. They still go to the nearest store to pay their bills. And these are people who have difficulty, mobility issues right now. Right? So that's out of habit. Again, because they're wary of being scammed and so on. Infrastructure limitations, okay, have to be overcome as well. And of course, there needs to be some policy and regulatory changes in order to accommodate the way digital tools are being developed and being used of. Okay, so strategies includes, of course, ethics education. Technology is great. Splitting the atom was perfectly fine. It was enhancing knowledge. Making the bomb, not so good. Right? So, what we do with it. So everyone's going out there, they're trying to come up with better and better technology, but then how we use it. Don't forget, the same technology that's helping us is being used against us. The scams and all that happening is using the same technology. So we need to develop ethical emphasis when it comes to technology development as well as use. And all these AI gurus out there are basically saying the same thing, right? It has to be ethical AI. There needs to be enough guidance on proper and responsible use. There needs to be enough guardrails put in place. Okay, there must be awareness of the weaknesses of the tools. This is what I was trying to say just now. Yes, the tools are great, but we must also be aware of why they were created, what are the limitations. That way, when you use it, at least you have the presence of mind to check, as opposed to just believing it wholly. Subsidies by the government or private sector may be needed to, let's say, provide infrastructure. Having more open source tools available would help. Multilingual and culturally sensitive tools. If this was an issue that Malaysia has been discussing and which India has also been doing that. When you have things like, say, the large language models, many of these are trained on data that comes from, let's say, the West. So when it comes up with solutions, it's based on what training it has. It may not work so much for our region. Because certain things that are culturally sensitive to us, for instance, may not matter in the West, right? So now, including India, there's an effort to create localized LLMs. I can't remember the name of the project right now, but there is one. Malaysia is also now looking into whether we should create one. Indonesia is creating their own as well. So many of the regions now are doing that so that they have localized control over your large language models. Okay. Right. Then of course infrastructure development to support these tools, to promote digital inclusion so that there's no communities that are left out of this, to have robust and clear privacy and security features. So for instance, like I said, we have the acts, we have the law, but we ourselves are defeating that. So maybe to have a second layer of protection to prevent this kind of abuse. Okay. Establishing help desk, user support hotlines to provide the support that we need. Conduct awareness campaigns, right? Again, like I said, for the digital literacy plan, especially demonstrate the tangible benefits of those tools, and sometimes we may even have to look into providing incentives to get people to start using it so that they can explore for themselves, to motivate them to explore so they can get the benefits out of it. Right? Okay, so the future, of course, is going to be all that, right? We're going to use more and more data-oriented things, a lot of AI in it, a lot of emphasis on cybersecurity and so on, in order for our life, our daily lives, we're going to look that way. Right? So, some of the things that we should be paying attention to, AI and machine learning, okay, as it advances. Quantum computing was also mentioned just now. It's going to revolutionize the speed at which things can be done and the ability of doing it. Blockchain, right, for decentralized systems, for traceability, for instance. IoT and 5G, also mentioned just now, so we'll get the biggest of that. Extended reality, talked about it just now. Digital twins, that means having simulated systems so we can do testing on them rather than building test models that saves costs and speeds up development and all that. Nanotechnology, right? The use of that, manipulate at the molecular level. 3D printing is already there, additive manufacturing was mentioned just now as well. Okay. Wearable technology mentioned, smart materials, edge computing, biometric authentication, human augmentation was also mentioned in the example by the previous speaker, and so on and so forth. So these are things that we should be paying attention to, we should take note of, because as we progress, you need to have these skills, otherwise you're going to be left out. Alright, so accelerate innovations for good, in order to help mankind, in order to create more sustainable development, to improve efficiency, reduce wastage, and of course repair the damage we have already done, for instance the environment. Okay, so with that, let me leave you with this. Digitalization is a part of modern life, we can't run away from it, so best to embrace it. Use it to create and promote productivity and innovation, but you have to determine the security, privacy issues, and intellectual property issues. When you use ChatGPT to do something, for instance, does it belong to you? If I use ChatGPT to write a book, is it my book or is it ChatGPT's book? Right? And of course, target ethical use of these digital tools. Right? So with that, thank you so much.
Good afternoon, sweetie. Good afternoon. You had a wonderful talk by Professor Prahlad Yogeshwar. What I will start first with my Professor Prahlad's question. If there are questions, put the question in the deck, please.
Invite both of them.
Please come to the question. Please go to the Okay, what I suggest is I just sum up what Professor Prahlad's talked about, and then we'll ask questions. See, he started with the energy, the wonderful, and then he talked about human resources too.
he talks about the Hindis, he can speak the language, but he connected to it. And then he talked about loneliness. Nobody talks about the loneliness in public. He talked about it, and he talked about how he connected with mother, how he talked about poetry. This I will also say, apart from engineer, we should have one such degree, be it science, apart from science, music, art, games, all cooking. These are the arts we have to learn. So what his lecture was not about, advanced sciences or technology. He talked about how we evolved over millions of years. And then he said, just listen to the whisper of your soul. Means your mother inside. You have to go inside. My one question will be that you can ask little later, you're all talking about artificial intelligence. Can we talk of spiritual intelligence also?
Yeah.
All the time you extended our frontiers of learning and knowledge. But can we reduce wars which are going on this world? All knowledge is going to enhance the wars. But this is debate we'll have at the end of this. And lot of like he did not bother about the examination, learning and assessment, no failure. In IIT, I tell you, in IIT and TEP also, they do not fail the students. They make them work harder, work longer, so that they learn rather than they fail. He talked about creativity, this, not this, not that. This is what is the whole science is. We know that what is my name, what is my title, what is my domain. Basically, we are all connected. We are not what we are visible here. We are something beyond. This is where we have to go. So coming to it is that he says that intelligence, wisdom which was there. We talked about wisdom. Old man could see that something is going on. We are going to use AI to use the same. So we have to be wiser. This was his talk. Now may I invite questions about AI and robotics. He talked about so-called playing robots, humanoids. Please ask questions about if you have a couple of questions can be asked. Any question? Please.
Good afternoon, sir. I would like to ask about, my name is Dr. Meenakshi Pawar, Vice Principal of Swedish College of Engineering, Pandharpur. So, as you talk about AI and this robotics, so if I want to indulge my student into this, what could be the path so that I should follow from, let us say from first year to second year to final year, so that student will move towards this upcoming technologies. And the thing is, the funding and all other, when we want to work on robotics, the investment, that is more investment we will have to go for. So how to deal with this problem? That is my question.
Thank you for the question. It's a very interesting point. There are two aspects to it. If we look at engineering disciplines that you are in, there are fundamentals associated with statics, kinematics, dynamics, and control is taught in different streams. So, for example, PID controller is very much there in control engineering everywhere. That is being used in motor systems and robotics. Of course, there are different kinds of motors, of course. What we do is there is a free open source virtual system called robot operating system, which has physics engine as part of it. And you don't have to buy these costly robots. What you need to have is systems with GPU, graphical processing units, and then install Ubuntu. There is certain version of the Ubuntu requirement. Now ROS1 is upgraded to robot operating system is upgraded to ROS2. So there are certain dependencies between Ubuntu and ROS2. And ROS2, robot operating system version 2, has a large number of libraries functions wherein you can create, you can use an existing popular robot that is already there, and you can create virtual spaces. It has got all the sensors and actuators and AI algorithms. You can try it out. So I use this in the 3rd year and 4th year courses, robot operating system. But if you can buy some mobile robots along with that, if there is funding, it's good to do some experiments as well. Do not confine fully on the virtual spaces. So, a simple example in 3rd year, what I do is to move from point A to point B. And at what speed it can go, whether it will go, and when it is reaching that point, whether it will hesitate, will it move forward or backward. With a proper tuning of PID controller, you'll be able to do it very well. Okay? Did I make sense to you? Thank you very much. Yeah.
One more question, please. Please.
It was wonderful talk. Most of the times people tell how to use AI and what is there in AI. But what problem to select to solve by AI, I learned first time from your talk. So can you further elaborate how to choose which problem to be solved by AI and which is not required? For example, you give very nice example, the routine and simple activities which computer can do, which human may not able to do, but how the complex task can do. So how to judge that, that's also important, because most of the times now tools and technologies of solving the problems are available, but problem identification itself becomes difficult. So can you just further?
Very interesting problem. Question. And I was thinking while you were asking what to answer. There are two aspects to this. Is my view. One is that we are increasingly using machines and algorithms for automate things, whether it is simple or complex. That is happening everywhere. Whether it is required to be so or not, that's a different question. It's a personal choice for most people now. So, my company introduced a floor cleaning robot first time in India in 2009. I exited the market in 2010 because I could not make much sales. Now it is a hot cake, it's selling hot cake. So I was very early into the the market. So the issue is the demand should be there for anything to be useful. So it depends on the people, it depends on the requirement. So two of my students tried to make roti making machines, roti making. It was even mentioned by Prime Minister of Singapore in one of his speeches. And now it is there everywhere. Okay. So what time you introduce, for what purpose you introduce, why there is a requirement to do it. So these are the questions that we have to ask ourselves. But for me, so when you asked about spiritual intelligence, I immediately used ChatGPT to use it. And in fact, we are all having it very, very well. So maybe I want to, did I answer you? Yeah. So what I got from spiritual intelligence is, one is self-awareness. Are we self-aware? When we are on screen time and we are using mobile phone, I'll be looking at it and I don't really see anybody walking in front of me and I step forward. I'm sorry. Okay. So, that is not having the awareness about myself and their own. The other is meaning and purpose, compassion and empathy, inner peace. So, that is there in part and parcel of us. That's my feeling. How much weightage we give to that is a choice.
I'll clear that question. I'm coming to a pragmatic question. In Ayurveda, you think that what is being
Yes, yes.
That's very important.
Yeah, it is happening in terms of. So I know some institutes in Kerala, because Ayurveda is very popular. They are trying to use it for identifying good plants, agriculture, but also. But I don't know the specifics about it. But if you have any chemical process if there are parameters to optimize, you can use AI. Thank you. Please, please.
Yeah. So, Dr. Prahlad, you can take it on a lighter side, or you can. I hope not to be make a loaded question to you. So, grosso modo, in the conditions which are largely existing, not very specific, in a city like Singapore, where lots of life living is perhaps driven by AI, and in cities of India, where we live a lot of with natural intelligence, with huge chaos, very, very briefly, in nutshell, how do you compare and what it is going to be in 10 years from now? Are we going to continue the chaotic life with natural intelligence? Or we are going to have some organized way that the way people live in Singapore?
Very, very hard question, Professor. What I see in Singapore is there is a greater effort to really improve everything. That is part and parcel of the community. So everywhere they want to improve the time, efficiency. There's something become part of the national spirit, something of that kind. But I think if we move away from the scene, these people also will get into that state sooner or later. Our younger generations, they want things getting done quickly. So I feel 10 years from now, India could be quite different if we give way for others to do. I'm putting it in a manner which is quite personal to me. Give them the chances and they will transform India. And I think it is happening across India. Though it is bits and pieces here and there, I think the young minds go to Bangalore or go to Hyderabad. I don't know much about the North Indian cities, sorry about that. The kind of innovation they are bringing, the kind of activities they do is amazing. How much of that can be translated to governance? How much that can be translated into society at large in terms of common resources? There are policies to be included. So I was in Logan Kerala Sabha in the board of Kerala government, and we put across a lot of stuff there. We are actively involving to transform at the university level, policy level. So those things are happening. So I don't know how it will become a force to transform the nation at large. That may take a little more time. Did I put it okay? Yeah. Sorry?
I said the dialogue will continue over the line.
Definitely. We like to have that. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Perla, for such an enlightening talk to us. It was very lively. The human aspect of you enhanced it. Big round of applause for you. Professor Logeshwara is third generation Malaysian now. What he talked about digitalization, digital tools, was actually, very frankly, I'm a mechanical engineer, not into all these things. It was a tool to India development. We call it South-South collaboration. We have collaborated with NUS also. Means we are the people have different kind of problems, different kind of culture and sensitivity. We are now developing. This digitalization has brought socialism in the society. This is what we have described, this is what is happening here in India. Nowhere people can think that only 50 crore people can go to bank and banking and they start delivering everything. Even the prime ministers and presidents of the other country comes and start buying coconut water. They are amazed at the digitalization which has brought socialism in the country. Same thing you have described about big healthcare. You started with compassionate note that for disadvantaged people, how digital tools can be helpful for students, healthcare screening basically. That's what is going on is, say doctor will diagnose and report it, but screening can be done at different places. So at least 80% that you don't have to go to the lab test. You don't have to go to the dispensary of the hospitals. So screening is one of the very important things which is going on in India. Banking has taken place. Then now see most of financial disabilities were there, which are coming back to people. So you have touched all the aspects of social development, be it education, healthcare, mental health. Mental health is one of the issues I feel that the stigma of going to a psychiatrist in our society is very high. In other countries, it's a fashion to go, but in our societies, we will not talk about it. We will suppress it. Moment these tools come, people start learning, and maybe I think that will open up new era of friends who can help using the AI and help people work friendly to them, not as a doctors. So the new technology, the way the technology is going to impact our living, has brought us next 10 years, 20 years. And now after listening to that, it will be more comprehensive, it will be more inclusive rather than disadvantageous. With this note, questions to Professor Logesh, please. Digital tool, I think more questions should have come here. Yeah, please.
I have to play my role as asking question. Okay, I was discussing with Professor Shah, like most of the people are developing the techniques called hooking in digital era. Like I was reading a book, Hooked. It's a very nice book. How they develop technology so that you can revisit that tool again and again. I was thinking like how we can. Your talk was more towards like kind of policy making. So in that policy making, how we can work on avoiding this digital abuse, which is happening most of the times, kind of addiction and all that. There is a one book I was reading that's called Dopamine Detox, which was telling about how we can stay away from this digital technology. So in your policy making, can you give some suggestion like how we can identify a person who is a digitally abused, and can there be any policies which we can make? Like recently we were listening to the news of Australia being planning of banning the what do you call social media below age of 16. So can you put some light on that aspects?
Thank you very much. That is actually a very difficult question because I don't think there's the right formula yet. Right? I mean, if we might, for instance, be able to say that yes, we ban using social media before a certain age, but then again, we also realize that there's advantages of using social media even younger, simply because they can actually get community, and especially now as our families get smaller. Like, I have an only son. I want him to be able to mix around, at least with people his age. So one of the ways that, for instance, I give a Malaysian example. The Malaysian Ministry of Education works with Google, and they created the school-level Google platform called the Lima. It's actually meant for the education. So that's where they upload soft copies of the textbooks and so on. All the members there are students only. They have to be registered through their schools. So that way, at least when they have some social media platform, support on that platform, you know that they are communicating among the kids and not with some potential, adult who may be trying to abuse it. So maybe things along those lines. And we've also come up now with the AI governance and enforcement, I think, guidelines. So that's again one step towards trying to have some kind of guardrails to how we develop AI and how we use AI in the country. Right? So I can't give you an exact answer yet. There's no real right or wrong, whether there's a certain age cutoff, but these are ways maybe we can try to minimize the damage for certain groups. I hope I've answered the question.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
One more question, please. Okay. Professor Prahlad, I'd like to address you something. I visited NGS twice. Second time I had the privilege to talk to your director. We have developed some nano finishing machine, first time in the world, in collaboration with NUS. And then he says, you are coming second time and you are not signed any MOU with us. I said, we don't believe in MOU. He said, very good. He showed me more than 100 MOUs. He said, all these people came first time, signed MOUs and went back. Today you're coming second time and you're developing a machine in collaboration because we want that spirit. Now I'm paying back the same point to you. Sir, we'd like, I am also part of this very family. We started this around say 12 years back or so. I want NUS should also get into MOU with SWARE and in advanced groups. Maybe exchange of students, exchange of faculty, because the moment they exchange, the culture changes. So that's what I request you. If there are no more questions, thank you very much for coming all the way, coming and enlightening us with your very sensitive and human parts.
We come to the concluding part of the inauguration function. Here are some instructions before we go ahead. Lunch is arranged for all the participants at open air auditorium in the College of Engineering Pharmacy across the road. The keynote sessions will start exactly at 2:30 in the Reading and Placement Seminar Hall on the ground floor. Parallel sessions for participants' presentations is scheduled in halls H1 to H5 in Civil Engineering Department at exactly 2:30 p.m. on the ground floor. So I request all the participants to gather sharp at time. Please do not forget to join us today evening for the cultural program and banquet at 6:30 p.m. And with this, with the kind permission of the chair, I now declare the inauguration function to be over. Thank you everyone for your patient listening. Thank you.